Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Community Spotlight. We're less than a week away from AGDQ 2021, and so we're going to be doing an episode previewing some of the games that are going to be on the schedule next week. So we've got 4 speed runs, but they're different categories than what are going to be shown during AGDQ 2021, just to sort of show some alternative categories, show off the games a little bit, and give you something to look forward to next week, things to look out for in the schedule. So we're starting off with Diddy Kong Racing, but before we get too much into that, just quick reminders that the schedule for AGDQ 2021 is out. If you haven't seen it yet, you can go to gamesdonequick.com. If you're watching on YouTube and you would like to support our live content, you can check us out at twitch.tv/GDQ. And if you are watching on our live stream right now, hello. But we would appreciate it if you would consider subscribing, as Hotfix is funded in part thanks to your subscriptions and bits. But we've got Sweener Dog here to run Diddy Kong Racing any percent for us, joined by Mrs. Gizmaluk and Trident Tail. How are you all doing today?
Doing great.
Good. Yeah, doing fantastic.
Ooh, in stereo. Well, why don't you all say hello and introduce yourselves so people know which voice is which?
Sure. Hi, my name is Sweener Dog. Been running DKR for I think it is 3 full years now, so that's pretty exciting. I'm mainly in RTA speedrunner of the game, in any percent, 100%, and all trophy races. Played some time trials on the side, as have the 2 guys I have on commentary today, who are also DKR legends, so I'm excited to have you guys on with me.
Yo, I'm Giz, or Mrs. Gizamaluk, and yeah, I'm going to join in here on commentary. It's going to be awesome, and yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, and I'm Trident Tail, and I've been running this game since about 2015, so pretty pumped to watch my boy Sweener tear it up tonight.
Yeah.
So we're doing an 8% today. Why don't you explain what's so different about this compared to what we're going to see in 100%?
So for any percent's really weird because this is a racing game, and I think for a lot of the racing games, it's just kind of finish all 3 laps on every race, and then hit the timer and you're done. There's other good racing games with this story mode, but this game's story mode comes with a couple of glitches that add a ton of RNG that under normal circumstances would actually keep us from finishing the run. So luckily we have safe strats that are going to allow us to finish the entire run today, so that's really good. But we're going to talk a lot about the percent chance of things going our way, and hopefully they do go our way, because that means we get to go fast. So Giz here, as Trident had said in the green room earlier, he is the DKR encyclopedia. He knows an unreal amount of stuff about this game, and he'll be super handy to have on to talk about how some of these tricks can affect the run as we go.
Yeah, for sure. And I actually ran DKR 80% at SGDQ 17, so I want to tell you a little bit about the differences from then and now. Not that many actually, but yeah, we'll talk about it.
And as for the difference between any percent and 100%, the adventure mode in Diddy Kong Racing is done in a way where to beat the game, you pretty much have to complete everything, so complete all the races, all the trophies, and all that stuff. But with the help of a few glitches, we can actually cut out a great deal of that, stuff. So in a 100%, for example, we'll be getting all 47 gold balloons, but here in any percent, we'll actually only be getting 16 balloons if we don't get the RNG we want. But you can actually complete this game with a minimum of 11 balloons. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it goes tonight.
Yeah, so I'm really excited to be able to kind of showcase this for any percent, but for AGDQ we're also going to have 100%. I believe that's next Sunday, so this is a really good sneak peek into some of the tricks and glitches we're going to use to go fast in that category as well.
So one final question for you before we get started. I know the start of this run can be really fast. Is there anything you'd like to preface before we get started?
Boy, what do you think, guys?
The
trophy race is the key.
Yeah, Yeah.
Every world in this game has a trophy race, and that is what allows us to beat this game really fast. So
Yep.
the guys will go into further detail about how and why it works,
Exactly.
but that is a good way to start us off here. That is what's going to make us take an
The-
hour off of this game.
There are basically 3 key points. There are 2 that takes us to the final world, and 1 that takes us to the final boss. And yeah, I don't want to. For those who haven't seen the run, I don't really want to spoil too much now. But yeah, we'll see. You'll see.
Okay. So why don't one of the lovely commentators give us a countdown if we're good to go?
You want to hit it,
You do
Giz?
Trident. No,
Oh,
you do Trident.
okay. All right, I can go for it. Sure. You good, Sweeter?
I'm ready.
All right. In 3, 2, 1, go.
And
Go.
we're off.
Yes.
And the intro cutscene that we have to watch every time because we can't skip it. With Wizbig's beautiful rock formation thing. And yeah, we're gonna do a safe route here, as Sweener said, which means that we're gonna grab some extra balloons along the way because this category is very RNG heavy. So we're gonna tell you a little bit later about why we're collecting some extra balloons. But if we get the RNG needed, Sweener is going to abandon the safe route to go for the faster route. However, I just want to say that if you haven't seen this, we're probably going to destroy some childhoods in the beginning here. But I guess this is a speedrun channel, and you guys are used to it.
So the first thing the Sweener is going to do here is he's going to talk to Taj, and he's going to switch to plane. And there's 4 gold balloons in the overworld here, but we're actually only going to grab 3 of them, I believe. No, we're going to grab all 4,
yeah, 3.
right?
We're going to grab 3 first.
Right.
We're going to reset the console later to grab the 4th one.
So he's going to grab 3, and then we're going to see our first big sequence break here.
Yeah. So we're grabbing these 3, and then he's going to go over here to this lighthouse, and we'll see what happens here. He's going to do...
Dang.
Oops.
Ooh.
too sharply.
Yep.
So
This trick is
a-
actually... Oh.
Yeah, this is a really tough clip. A lot of players will pick up any percent first and have a really tough time with this one because of the water.
yeah, and it's kind of precise, and you can't dive too sharply, and you can't dive too late or too early. So you have to do this. So it kind of sucks to have with the hardest trick, or like maybe the second hardest trick of the run right at the start.
Yep, and unfortunately I'm having a little bit of trouble with it, but still too low. Yeah, this one is super reset heavy. Like, if you actually should practice it a little bit before you do runs and stuff, because otherwise you're gonna waste a lot of time. Man, really? You're gonna waste a lot of time
Early.
resetting, trying to get this on the first try, and it's just not gonna happen.
Yeah.
So what Sweener wants to do is he wants to try and just get he wants to just get right under the beach, but again not have too steep of an angle, because if he goes too far down, the water's actually going to push him back up. Once he sees that he gets a nice clip underneath the beach like this, he's going to hold up on the joystick to muscle the plane down so that he doesn't pop back out, and he's also going to hold A so that he's driving through the beach.
And what that does is that we can clip under the ground, and we can drive to Wizbig immediately.
So since that clip is so difficult to pull off, especially first try or second or even third, we like to get it out of the way right away. We could do this at any point in the run, but right away is usually the fastest, especially since we have to grab the overworld balloons anyway.
Yeah, so it's the fastest for the route, but we could have done it at any time. So as I mentioned before, we need to do 2 things to unlock the final world, Future Funland. The first thing, or well, technically supposed to be the second thing, but you're supposed to beat Wizbig 1. And the other one is that you have to beat all the 4 trophies, or get the golden trophies for all the other or the four first worlds. And yeah, so Wizpig won. It's a pretty difficult race with a lot of bumps, and it's actually really hard if you drift too much, because the bumps can switch your drift direction, and if you drift and it switches your direction, you fly down the water.
And just a heads up for the stream technician here, after this race, we're resetting the console, and I'm actually also going to quick go into OBS and reset my capture card, because I have some pretty intense audio delay. That usually fixes that.
Yep, no problem.
Cool.
So this is going to be a spliced run?
Yep.
Alright, so here, there's a 5-minute cutscene to get to the start again, but as soon as the cutscene with Wizpig appears, the game saves, so you can just reset the console. And yeah. Though we don't have to waste 5 minutes watching them party, as TT says.
Yippee! Let's party.
Exactly.
Okay, so a little bit of a rough start with that out of bounds clip, but now we're going to get into like the actual game, so that'll be fun.
Exactly. Now we pick up the last overworld balloon, and when you do the fastest route, you don't have to. You can actually skip one of the overworld balloons, but since we do the safe route, we pick that up. Because as Trident mentioned earlier, you don't have to have more than 11 balloons, but for the safer route, we need 16. So yeah, and the overworld balloon is really quick to grab. So, all right, Jungle Falls, the most beautiful track in the game.
Yep. I think all three of us are big fans of this track.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a super fast-paced track with a lot of tech.
Super flowy, like it's everything just flows so well together between the zippers and the boosts and the jumps, and when it's done properly like this, it is so fun to watch.
We did one thing not properly though. You guys want to talk about cutscene skips?
Yeah, you want to go for it, Giz?
Sure. So, when at the last frame of the race, you can actually still do actions. So, and what you can do is that you can use a pause button, and while you're winning, because it saves on the frame after you win, you can pause and go to the return to lobby. Then you don't have to watch Taj give you the balloon. And it seems like chat liked the cutscene, but we're going to try to skip it as much as possible. And the first one you miss here is about 22 seconds long. And yeah, in 90% it's basically a reset, but not always. But you don't want to watch that first cutscene. In 100% you actually have to watch the long cutscene, but here in 90% you can actually skip it all the way through, so you never have to see the long cutscene. And let's see if we can get the cutscene skip so you know what we're talking about. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So you saw that he paused, like the first thing came up on the screen so that he won, but you could pause and enter or exit the race.
Yep, and as Giz said, that's a one-frame trick. And if we're talking about, when we're doing our any percent runs, and let's assume that we're going for the faster 11 balloon route, that means that there's 8 of them in the run, which means that you have to do 8 frame perfect tricks in order to save 22 seconds.
Or if you miss one out of 8, you lose 22 seconds.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
So it's one of the super rough things about any percent.
Yeah.
The bright side is that you can buffer it, though. That is also worth mentioning.
Yeah, for sure. And also that after the first one, you lose 6 seconds per skip.
So one thing comes to mind here while we're just sort of going through these first few races. Sweener's going a lot faster than a lot of people probably do if they play this game casually.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot behind that. Do you want to go into like how to go fast in this game?
Sure. There are many things to do. It's a very complex game in general. But the first things are, of course, he's driving with the character TT. TT is the best character. He's an unlockable. But since he's not save file based, but rather cartridge based, he's allowed to use for every category or anything. We don't have any character specific categories in this game. And also, we're using the green boosts, as you can see a lot. And those are, things that you can learn in the game. They teach you that. Taj tells you after you beat Bluey the Walrus the first time. And yeah, that makes the boost a lot faster. And also, he doesn't start, pressing the A button again for a while to let the boost be as long as possible. And yeah, Trident, tell us some more.
Sure. So, as you might have seen, in Diddy Kong Racing there are 3 different vehicles, and each one kind of has a bit of a unique, it has some unique tech that allows you to go faster. So in the car, for example, A-tapping is really, really important. Some people say it's a mash. It's not really a mash. It's more of just a steady tap.
Sorry, we need to focus on this trick.
Oh, yeah.
So this is something that you didn't see in my run at the AGDQ. This is something that was found late to 2017. It's actually a luck-based trick that's basically a coin flip. It's a 50% chance that it happens. Let's see if he gets it. No, not second try either. Bad luck. So he's driving into this corner here, which looks really weird. Wrong way, cool. And now we might be wondering, is he giving him a head start or something? But no. Whoops. There you go.
I haven't seen that one before.
Yeah, I had to. Yeah, we can explain that a little. We're going to see it once again, so I think we can explain it more after Trident has finished with the rest there.
Sure. So the other 2 vehicles, Hover and Plane, we're actually not going to see Hover too much, I don't think. We're going to see it maybe 1 or 2 times.
3.
3 times?
3, yeah.
Yeah, Whale Bay, and Pirate Lagoon.
Right. So for Hover, we do a technique called snaking, where you are alternating between up left and up right on the joystick to wobble back and forth. And for some reason, this gives you a bit of a boost in speed. And when you couple this with A-tapping as well, you can speed up your hovercraft quite a bit. And the last vehicle, Plane, actually is pretty unique in that it's the only vehicle that can actually generate its own boost, and that's done through barrel rolling. So plane tracks, you're going to see a lot of chaining boosts and barrel rolls and zippers to try and maintain that boost speed as long as possible. And we're actually not going to be touching the A button all that much, because when you press the accelerator, you're actually throttling that boost speed, which you don't want to do as much as possible. So that's just a bit of the tech that you will see in Diddy Kong Racing across the 3 vehicles.
Yeah, exactly. And now he's doing the coin challenge, where you have to collect all 8 coins and beat and win, which is usually a pretty tough task for casual players, but generally not too hard for speedrunners. But the fun thing here is that you can do other routes and stuff. It's just a little different than to doing the track normally, say. So it's really fun, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think the coin races add a lot of great stuff to the speedruns, because each coin race can be tackled differently. Sometimes it's best to just go for all the coins on the first lap, so you can just focus on racing in the next 2 laps. Sometimes it's good to prioritize bananas on the first lap, because the bananas, if you don't know, they make you go faster. I think each banana increases your acceleration and top speed by 2.5%. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
And it's maxed out at 10. So you want to try and collect as many bananas as you can on the first lap so that you can max out your top speed on the next 2 laps. So sometimes it's a balance of between the two. And in Hot Tub Volcano, which is the next track, that's really rough. That oil slick is usually there on the second lap, and it's kind of hard to avoid. But as I was saying, on the on the next track, Hot Tub Volcano, we didn't even talk about the
No, we
Outbound,
didn't.
did we?
We didn't have time.
Oh my gosh, there's so much.
Yeah,
so
Yeah,
much
this
to talk
happens every
about.
time we play this in a marathon. It's just like, oh yeah.
it's super compact in the beginning, so yeah. Okay.
Anyways,
And this trick is called Canyonless.
By the way.
Yeah. I wonder where the name came from. When Blake
I don't know.
came up with it. Okay, so here in Hot Tub Volcano, as the last time, we actually clipped out of bounds, and yeah, on the first lap here, he's just gonna grab a lot of coins, and then he's
Hopefully
gonna
all
go.
of them.
Yep, and then he's gonna go out of bounds on the second lap. And what he does is basically that he's pointing himself downwards. He uses a boost on barrel rolls, so he gets enough speed and power to go underneath the wall, because the walls are not endless or like infinite downwards. So he's just gonna boost underneath the wall and land on the other side, as you can see here. And then when you're out of bounds, you need to hit certain checkpoints that are important. Not all the checkpoints around the track are important, but you have to hit certain ones for the laps to count. So of course we have optimized these and looked at where to go, so he can drive as a little out of value, or like the shortest path possible.
and Hot Tub Volcano is one of the easy ones. I think there's only like 2 important checkpoints, pretty much at the top of the track and at the bottom. So you pretty much
Wow.
drive in this oval pattern between the 2 checkpoints. You may see, well, you're definitely going to see one other out of bounds later.
Yep.
You might possibly see 2 more, and those by
Depends on the
comparison, yeah, it depends on the RNG. But those 2 tracks, the flight patterns by comparison are are much more complex.
Alright, so time for tricky. Let's try to explain this. So what he's doing is that he's driving behind the map, and for some reason there are 2 checkpoints that are overlapping in that corner that he drove into. Oh, first lap.
Good job.
Nice. There are 2 overlapping triggers, and if you drive out of the corner on one specific one, the game will be very confused, and it will think that you're driving backwards. As you saw, like it said wrong way. And then the game is thinking that you're driving towards the finish line because the checkpoints in the corner are after the finish line for some reason. So you drive backwards, and the game still counts backwards towards the goal line, and then ends the race when you hit that, like when you've driven, enough checkpoints backwards. It's kind of a weird trick, but the checkpoint switches every frame, so that's why it's random. So because we can't check which checkpoint it is.
Now, just for everybody's reference, Sweener, you got 7 out of 8 cutscene skips, right?
Yes, I did.
That's good.
So that's really good.
So in the normal 100% run, that would have been it. But since we're doing the safe route here, he might have to do 3 more.
We will find out in about 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
good
and we
drift.
got a great question in chat here about the Japanese version, and the reason it's faster to use the Japanese version is basically 2 reasons, or just actually 1 reason for this category. It's that the thing we're gonna see soon is Japanese version. It's not exclusive, but it's better. It has some more options, and I will explain that in a little bit when you've seen the trick. But it's also an out-of-bounds Space for Alpha that is available, but we will not do Space for Alpha in this run. You will see it in the 100% run in a week. Wink, wink.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
So-
if you were hoping to see all the tracks in this game today, you're gonna have to wait until Sunday because we're not gonna be seeing all the tracks today.
No.
To see these 4 a lot.
Yeah, I hope you like Dino Domain.
Yeah. It's the
I love-
greatest world, so. Wow. Nice.
Nice geometry right there.
Yeah. But yeah, we will show you the. I'll tell you in like a few minutes. I will tell you about the Japanese version more because you'll understand more if you see it. Now the word has bug glitches. Yes, basically. All right, Fossil Canyon. It's a rough track, and I think it's always the hardest track to play in marathons, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Best version of Jungle Falls Trophy Race.
Oh yeah, we can actually talk about why he said that. It's because the CPUs are faster in the trophy race, and since there's no rubber banding in this game, they will have a different positioning. Because as you can see here, he bonked there, but the CPUs will not block the tunnel as they do if you play it normally. They will be like in the slope instead, which is really good. So this tunnel here is free, which is really awesome. So that's why he said that's the best version of Jungle Falls.
Yeah, just from,
Okay, Trident. Now it's time. Now you gotta explain why the Japanese version is used
Me?
and what's gonna happen. Yep.
You got
Alright.
about 5 seconds.
Alright, so Sweener's going out of bounds here, like we've already seen, but he's gonna fly towards the starting line, and there's just this random loading zone there. And we're magically in Dragon Forest. So
Whoa.
the thing is that Sweener actually interrupted the trophy race, but he is still technically in the trophy race. The game is waiting for him to finish one more race.
Yeah.
So after this short little detour, we're going to be doing this car challenge to get another balloon because we're doing the safer route. But after this, Sweener is going to go to Snowflake Mountain.
That's right, he's gonna go to Snowflake Mountain.
Hmm.
So this trophy storage glitch is very beneficial to go fast. Because if you guys were here from the start, I told you guys that what you need to unlock Future Funland, the last world, is to beat Wizard 1, done that, and we need all the trophies. Well, we have done 3 races of a trophy, and now we're going to go to Snowflake Mountain. And I wonder what we're going to do here. Well,
Let's see what he does.
exactly. We're entering Snowball Valley, and the reason we're entering this level is because it's the shortest. It's a speedrun, you guys. Snowball Valley. Not Sweeney's favorite, but it's a short track, so he doesn't have to be in pain for too long.
Yeah, he could be doing Hover Challenge.
Exactly. And exactly. And also, if anyone has picked that up, like we have not picked the keys up, it's because we will not need them.
Nope.
And you guys will see why later.
Thank God.
Oh wow, that snowball.
100% in 6 days.
yeah, 100%
Oh, look
is
at
going to be
this.
shown off in AGDQ 2021.
Yeah, and did you see that screen? What happened? It's a trophy.
Yeah,
So-
so like I said, the game is waiting for you to complete one more race to complete the trophy, and so we did our last race in Snowflake Mountain. Now, it looks like the trophy is in Dino Domain, but it is not in Dino Domain. We actually just collected the trophy for Snowflake Mountain. You know what that means? We skipped having to do all the balloon races in Snowflake Mountain. We skipped having to do the Bluey the Boss. We skipped having to do the coin
Let's go
races
crazy.
in Snowflake Mountain. And of course we skipped doing Bluey too. So that is a lot of the game skipped right there. And as I'm sure you probably already can guess, we're going to be doing this for the rest of the worlds in this game.
So now we already have the trophy. And yeah. Now we need to do the same for other worlds. And you might be wondering, like, why is he in Stubble Valley again? Well, as we said earlier, he needs some more balloons. So he's gonna collect a balloon here because this is a short track and cuts the skin nice.
Nice one.
Unfortunately, this magic trophy race trick does not work entirely. This is not a perfect key. We need a very low % chance thing to happen in a normal run.
Yes.
that
And
we'll
that's
talk
where
about.
the Japanese version comes in.
Yep.
And
So-
yeah, you can take it.
So this wrong warp that we've done in the Hot Tub Volcano stage, it only works on the Japanese versions and on the North American 1.1 version, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it works on the PAL 1.1 too, but
Okay.
yeah.
But the difference between the Japanese version and those other two versions is that in the North American and PAL 1.1 versions, when you perform the wrong warp, you will always get sent to Overworld. But in the Japanese version, 10%, you have a 10% chance of going to the Overworld, a roughly 10% chance going to Dragon Forest in the plane, and the other 80% is Dragon Forest in the car, as we've already seen. The interesting thing with Dragon Forest in the plane is that this is not a vehicle that you're typically supposed to be in when you're in Dragon Forest, and you can actually fly the plane out of bounds, and you're able to access any of the races in that world without having the required number of balloons to open the door.
Yep.
The lowest amount of which is 16.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
So, how the RNG comes into play is that if Sweener gets this roughly 10% chance warp where he ends up in Dragon Forest in the plane, then he will be able to access the shortest race, which is Haunted Woods in Dragon Forest, and use that track to get his Dragon Forest trophy. If he doesn't get that warp, then he will have to access the race with the lowest number of required balloons, and that's Windmill Plains, and you require 16 balloons for that, which is why we're going to be getting some extra balloons just in case he doesn't get that special warp.
Exactly. So we're gonna see one beautiful jungle falls, and then we're gonna see which warp we're gonna get. What do you think, chat? What are we gonna get? Dragon Forest plane, Dragon Forest car, or Overworld?
So you have three 10% chances to get it, so it's like what, roughly 27%?
Yeah, ish. It's a little difficult to explain why it's about 10%, but yeah.
We don't really know. Also,
Yeah, we know kind of how it works, but we don't know how to manipulate it or such. So yeah.
lots of
So
overworld.
it's a roughly 10.
Yeah, I was going to be the troll, and I was going to say Overworld as well.
Of course, Overworld. Overworld does save time actually, because then we don't have to drive out of Dragon Forest and watch the loading zone. So that 10% chance would be good, but the one we really want is, yeah, not that one.
Game will
We want
crash.
Game will crash. I mean, it's not that bad because because he said, so as Triton said earlier, this trick works on the JP version and the NA and PAL 1.1 versions. What happens if you do the trick on the PAL 1.0 or the NTSC 1.0 is that the game crashes. Yeah, it's because it doesn't have a map to put you in. So the game crashes. But yeah, so he didn't have super great RNG, so he has to do the 16 balloon route, but that's fine.
More hover. Best vehicle.
More hover, yeah. Let's just hope we don't see Dragon Plane. Well, I guess Dragon Plane would be nice still. It'd be kind of a kick in the pants, though,
Yeah.
to
Dragon Plane
get
at
16
this point.
balloons. Yeah.
Yeah.
He would have to
only
do
save
a-
like 15 seconds ish.
Yeah. But then we won't be able to see another cool out of bounds. Which I think at this point you might as well just
Yeah, I
do
had that
yellow
same
planes,
thought.
right?
Yeah. Or do Boulder King and just fun. Here we go.
46
that's
is
good.
super solid.
Yeah.
That's a great time.
Yeah. And now we are at 14 balloons. So we need 2 more. So he's going to do 2 more hover races here. Whale Bay again and Pirate Lagoon. And you see that beautiful trophy? That means he's done. And if you're nice to the viewers later, maybe you can look into the trophy room to see the beautiful statue standing on there.
Good idea. So this is my favorite track in the game, and I'm very excited that I actually get to play it.
Yeah, Pirate Lagoon
Aw,
is
man.
is sick. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
unfortunate, but this is a
How did
sick
you miss
level.
that?
Because game.
Oh, right.
Yeah, this game. Yeah, if you go really fast, it's not uncommon to clip through balloons. It happens. There are a
That's
few
what I
tracks
wanted.
where it's more prominent though, like Space Dust Alley. We clip through them all the time. Oof, sub 15 laps, that's insane.
Can
Yeah,
you get a
because-
firstie on this cutscene skip for me?
Yeah.
This is a really good part of the game though. So, this track is kind of insane, and I think.
Oh,
Look at
Casual?
the trophy room.
that's
Aw,
the stuff.
you
We
forgot
can
the
glance
trophy
in
room.
there after Whale Bay.
Yeah, you can. Alright, so yeah, that was insane. But I think most people in chat who haven't seen speedruns of this will be like, wait, you can drive like that and hover? Just fly.
Yeah, this is typically the most hated vehicle in the game, but it's actually the most lenient in terms of its mechanics, and it's super fun to play. Oh man.
It's kind of crazy. And yeah, you see the snaking action Trident was talking about earlier, going back and forth and back and forth. But beware, if you hold the R button and go back and forth like that, no, well, and you don't go back and forth like that and go just straight, you actually slow down.
Yeah,
So
hover makes
if you
no
wanna-
sense.
So you need to keep turning if you want to go faster. Oh, Mrs. Skip.
I mean, it is the hardest one in the game.
It is. Alright, trophy room quick.
Yeah, just for
Over
fun,
here,
just
right?
see.
Yeah.
it's the left.
Just so you know you're not cheating.
Look at that.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna go. Bye.
Yeah, just for fun. So you can see that we actually got the trophy in here, even though, yeah, we haven't done anything, basically.
Yeah, it's funny because when you do this, when you go back to the first world and you look at the trophy room, the trophy's gone.
Yep.
Yep, we don't have it.
But not for much
Stolen.
longer.
Exactly.
That's right.
That's the next thing we're gonna do. We're gonna
Yep.
finish Dino Domain trophy. Taj is the name of the elephant.
Yeah, Taj is the best character.
Yeah, and he's playable in the DS version, but the DS version is horrible.
There's the DS version.
Very different game from its N64 original.
Yeah, for sure. And it's really bad.
Any percent is
Yeah.
a really weird category in this game. I feel like in my head I'm always like, I'll play some chill any percent and just play these same 4 tracks over and over again. And you don't really have to think about it when you play this game a lot. But then I get into it and I immediately regret my decision. Because I'm
Yeah.
like, alright, it's the 3rd time I have to do these trophy races over and over again. And then, if
Bad
you're really
RNG
lucky, yep. And then you're finally 38 minutes in or whatever, and you realize that you don't get to finish the run or something like that. It's like, oh, cool.
Yeah,
it was a
it
good
makes
use
a
of my
good
time.
showcase, but I can see it being not fun to grind.
It is not
Right.
a fun grind. No, it's
it's rough.
it's kind of fun to do an 90% run every once in a while. The kind of the repetitiveness of it can be kind of meditative, but
Yeah.
but the grind it can be pretty rough with all the roadblocks
Right.
that you need to
Yeah, and
get over.
and we haven't seen all the luck-based stuff yet. So it's just on the beginning. Like I mean, of course, the first clip is not RNG or anything, but it's hard. And you saw Sweener having a hard time with it in the beginning, so it's a tough trick. Even for a top runner, can cause trouble. And then we have, you know, the cuts and skips. There are 8 frame perfect tricks that you have to nail if you want to get a good time. You have the tricky skip, where, you know, you went into the corner and you had a 50-50 to get it, and you lose 9 seconds every time you don't get it. So it's super, super harsh. You need good RNG there too. Then we have 3 warps where we need the 10% RNG. And yeah, we're gonna do a trick later that also is luck-based. So yeah, it's a rough category to grind, but it's really fun to learn and play and, you know, get to know. So if people they should try this for sure. Ooh.
Yeah, there's really only a couple tricks you absolutely have to know how to do to run it. So it's I think it is a really good intro category for new runners, because you also get a ton of practice on these 4 tracks.
And a good question, chat, is which speedrun type is the most fun in DKR? This is, I mean, the community is very
Split.
very split here, yeah. Like, we have 3 main categories. It's 80%, 100%, and all trophy freezes. All of them are very different. 80% is this, you know, really grindy thing with a lot of RNG. Really kind of short though, which is nice. Then we have all trophy races, which is just racing, just like a Mario Kart, you know, cup speedrun. And then we have 100% with lots of tricks, and it's an endurance game, you know, with a lot of, yeah, it's a huge category, and a lot of people that like, you know, the big stuff, they like that. But also we have a huge time trial community. We have a website called dkr64.com where we have 100% focus on the time trials. And yeah,
It's an awesome website. Like really, really cool. There's so much stat tracking and interesting information you can look at on there. And we have a ton of time trials to play as well. I never remember that. It's like 124 different individual levels.
Yeah, 124 different times to submit. So if you want to become really good at DKR and you want to be a top runner and everything, you have to spend a lot of time and grind a lot. But this game is really fun to grind. So
yes. At the end of the day, you're always going fast. Very, very easy to get into this game, but almost impossible to ever reach the skill ceiling. Not even sure if it exists, to be honest.
Yeah, world records and time trials are broken basically
daily.
Every week. Okay, daily.
Sometimes daily. Like there's
Yeah.
been months where every single day there's people going back and forth on times, and it's not just the same 2 people. Like there's been times where like 4 different people are all trading the world record on one time trial. So it's crazy how much room for improvement there still is in this game, and I don't think we'll ever reach the ceiling.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, super insane. So, yeah. And
Some good side commentary for this run, as we did the boring, regular old Dino trophy. No fun, interesting warp or anything.
Exactly. And as you might know, I think people have understood what's going to happen next here.
Yeah, but at this point, I think most of the time people kind of get what's going on. We have one more trophy to get, so.
And someone chat said the drive seems more fun when you're experienced, and I agree. I think this is something like it gets more fun the better you get, and like people always say that. It's like, yeah, it's so, because when you understand the complex mechanics and stuff, it's super cool, and you understand how to maintain a lot of speed, and you learn like, oh, you have to approach this zipper like that and this zipper like that, and you can't drift here, and you blah blah blah. So much to learn, but it's really, really fun, and the community is awesome. Just helps people out all the time, every day. The community is super active. So yeah, oh, wow, super unlucky here though.
You're getting some really good like collision here on the track.
It's really cool. That jump was crazy though. Whoa.
And sometimes it seems like the hardest part of these races is not slamming into the CPUs.
Yeah, sometimes, but we can kind of know where they are because they have about the same speed every time. So when we drive at a certain speed, we can, you know, anticipate where they are. And also, that goes for the items usually. So if they drop like a bubble or something, it's dependent on how fast you go and stuff like that. So
Resident sleeper.
Yay!
Dragon car every time.
It means we get to see windmill planes.
Yeah.
All right, so this clip is nobody's friend.
It's my friend.
Yes, yeah, we can say it's Striden's friend.
So, yeah, this trick has an out of bounds surprise, and it's known to be one of the hardest ones in the game.
But my man Sweener's gonna get it right here.
Of course. Boom.
Yes!
Easy.
Let's go.
Nice. And not only the clip itself is pretty hard, but the movement out of bounds is also really difficult because, as you can see, the track keeps loading and deloading, and you know, and if you go too low, you should go.
Oh, Sweener.
Yeah. Yeah.
Giving me heart palpitations.
Same. Okay, yeah.
The reason why this track is really difficult to navigate out of bounds, kind of imagine, I think Obio said it really great once. Imagine the track is in like a box, and once you fly out of the area of this box, then it's going to reset your position at the starting line, and it's going to erase all like the checkpoints that you've passed, and you basically have to start the lap over from the very beginning. Well, in some tracks, the box can be quite large, so you don't really have to worry about
like
leaving
Spaceport
the
Alpha.
area. But in the case of windmill planes, the boundaries of this box are actually pretty tight to the course. So like one wrong angle change, and if you barrel roll like too far down, you'll just end up back at the starting line. So when it looked like Sweener was a little low, but he was kind of just hovering closely to that boundary, and he was able to stay within the confines of this box.
Yeah.
So to speak.
And now I want to say, you saw that we had all the 4 trophies. That was one of the things we needed. And Wispig 1, that's what we needed. We've already done Wispig 1, that was the first thing we did. Now, the final thing we need to do to beat this game is to beat Wispig 2. But, wait. There are tracks to do here, and the TT door. What are we going to do about that? Well, we're gonna call on our let's ask TT multiple times and then leave.
We're not gonna explain this at first and just see if it works, right?
Yeah, we'll see what happens here. We're just gonna watch him honk a little bit and then.
Essentially, we're just making him really bad.
Yep, that's the key point.
I'm gonna have a little bit of a weird setup here because I'm always really bad at setting this trick up, but we're gonna see how this goes. So we have had 8 frame perfect tricks, 2 like 50% chance coin flips. What else?
3 10% chances.
3 tries to get the 10% chances, and it has all culminated in this trick.
Yeah, a luck-based trick. So yeah, okay. So
we're finally here.
Yeah.
We're at the end of the run.
We're putting him inside the wall, and yeah, he's getting bullied here. This is Shane chat. Even though he's nice. But don't worry.
He's a nice guy, but
he's gonna. You'll see.
He's not mad enough, Sweener. I think you need to honk at him a few more times.
Yeah, he's this guy, you know, who stands up to the bullies. Call him further back.
It's such a ridiculous trick when it works, though.
Yeah.
Alright, we'll pull him further back.
Yeah, we're provoking him. So this, as you can see, this is a trick that could have worked every time, but it hasn't.
Cool trick.
Yeah, I saw. Why, you should go further back. And yeah, it's a really rough trick, because even if you get all the insane RNG stuff, yeah. What
This
happened
could look
here?
good.
He's up in the ceiling. What is he doing up there? And he just flies down and smashes you away. And then you can enter the final race.
That was TT's final smash.
Yeah. So you can get slapped over, or just get stomped over the wall, and face Whizbig.
Alright.
Here we go, final race of
Good
the
luck.
run.
Good luck.
And this track has a lot of annoying obstacles and stuff, so you know, let's just skip them.
Yeah, sounds good
Actually, though, this track sucks.
Yeah.
Like, for a last final boss race, it's not very fun.
to me. You bite your tongue.
No.
Are there any plane tracks where you can't go out of bounds in this game?
Yes.
Yes.
Everfrost Peak and the Space Alley.
They're two of the hardest tracks, too.
Yeah. I mean, there is a frame perfect. Well, it's a task only trick where you can go out of bounds in Space Alley, but it's not possible to do as a human.
And it is TAS only, man. It's not just hard, it's like, okay, yeah, that's not happening.
No.
Alright,
But
time's
Everfrost
coming
Peak
up
is
right now.
impossible.
Time.
Good job.
Nice. Applause. And that's 80%.
That's it.
Way to go,
Yeah.
Sweener.
Nice.
We beat the game! Yay!
Yeah. So that's how you beat Diddy Kong Racing in 46.5 minutes.
So, to compare, I guess, this is the 16 balloon route. It's marathon safe. You will probably never see the 11 balloon route in a marathon. If you do, God be with
Yeah.
that individual. But to compare, the 11 balloon route world record is currently 37 minutes 59 seconds by Trident Tail. So this route loses a lot of time to it. 11 balloon is where it's at, but it is a super
really
rough
cool.
category to run. It's really
Yeah.
cool, yeah. This one's a little weird because when we go into each world, we have to re-enter races and get extra balloons and stuff. But in 11 balloon, we go to a world, we do one race, and we're done. We never come back, which is really, really neat in my opinion. I think it's the coolest thing is that it's basically just Dino and the Whizpig races. That's the whole game. So it's neat.
Yeah, and sick job by Sweener. And remember that the 100% world record holder is going to play 100% at Games Not Quick in 6 days.
Yeah, make sure you tune in for that. Do y'all have any shoutouts before we wrap things up here?
Shoutouts to Abayo
Yeah.
for Hundo Runner coming up next week, and shoutouts to the whole community who is hanging out and chat with us. Thank you guys so much for being so awesome. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
as Giz said, we have a wonderful community here. And if you're interested in getting into this game at all, make sure you go to speedrun.com/DKR, and under the Discord tab is a link to our Discord. and you can join that. And we'd love to get you set up and get racing, because this is a wonderful speed game.
And I guess one thing I really like mentioning during any marathon, the Japanese version of this game is like $5. It's super easy to get into if you have N64. And even if you don't, there's nothing wrong with practicing on emulator and learning how the game works that way. So,
Even though it's
lots of
banned for
opportunity.
actual submissions, just so you
Right.
know.
Yeah. But yeah, so pick the game up if you liked what you saw. There's so much more to this game, you have no idea. We'll about do it, I think.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks so much, Sweener, Giz, and Trident Tail for doing that run for us and explaining it very well. We're going to go to a quick break here. We've got a couple more games for you all tonight. They're all games that are going to be featured in AGDQ 2021, but they're different categories than what you'll be seeing next week. Just to sort of, get you a little invested in some of the runs that are coming up next week. Give you encouragement to pick up, make sure you catch those runs during the week-long of speedrunning. So coming up next, we've got Super Meat Boy Dark Ending, which is going to be run by Jankmo. And that's going to be quite a bit of fun, because recently in West Coast Weekend we had any percent, and during AGDQ 2021 we're going to have 106%. So we're kind of showing the third big category of Super Meat Boy, which is Dark Ending, coming up next. So we'll be back in just a few minutes. We're going to play a few ads while we're doing that, and if you're subscribed you won't see those ads. But if you're not subscribed, we would appreciate it if you would consider subscribing, as Hotfix is funded in part thanks to your subscriptions and bits. But we'll be right back in just a few minutes. Welcome back, everyone, to the Community Spotlight. We are continuing on with our AGDQ 2021 preview episode, where we're showing off games that are going to be featured in AGDQ 2021, but we're showing different categories. So like we said before the break, we showed any percent recently during West Coast Weekend. Next week, we're going to show 106%. So we're showing off Dark Ending. It's kind of one of the other really big categories. It sort of rounds out the Super Meat Boy platter for you all in these, month or so apart. And we've got Jankmo here to run the game, and Wormham to help with commentary. How are you both doing today?
Wonderful. Thanks for having us on.
I'm doing pretty good.
Excited to be back. I did a run of this category at SGDQ 2016, so this is like full circle kind of moment here. And I'm excited to see what Jankmo does today. It's going to be a lot of fun.
So are there any big changes from this last time it's been seen on a GDQ stage, or is it...
Not really. Like, maybe like a one level difference in the route, but it's not too many.
We can expect mostly the same stuff as
There's
a
a
few
couple
years
new
back.
strats, but
Some new
about it.
strats here and there. I think Jankmo's going to pull out some stuff that I definitely did not go for. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I think it just comes down to level strats, and I think Jankmo's going to go for a couple of things that might look a little different.
All right. Well, unless you have anything else you'd like to discuss before we get started, I'm ready when you are.
Good to go.
All right. So, you want to explain the category, Ham?
Yeah. Should we do a countdown or something?
Sure. All right.
And then I can start talking as we go.
Okay. So time will start when I start the game in 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay. So this is Super Meat Boy, famous indie platformer from 2010. We were just talking about how this game is now 10 years old, which is pretty obscene. Makes me feel very old. Yeah, it's a notoriously difficult platformer. You're gonna see Jankmo throughout the run pausing the game intermittently. That's to activate something called an auto jump. So we're gonna see that a couple of times here in the early part of the game, and that is basically so that Meat Boy can jump on the first frame that he touches the surface, which is just helpful for some fast climbs throughout the run. So in case you're wondering why Jankmo's pausing, it's to do the auto jump strat. So with this category, this is Dark Ending, so it's a little bit different from any percent. It's basically any percent plus. So we're doing the majority of the levels that you'd see in a typical any percent run, but we're also doing the dark levels. For this category, we only need to beat 17 light levels in order to reach the light level boss, and we need any combination of 85 dark levels to reach the final dark boss. of the game. So you're going to be seeing Jankmo doing both light and dark levels. There's some routing stuff too, so Jankmo is actually going to do a couple of extra levels here that we don't do in any percent in Forest. So we're going to do 19 light and dark Forest levels here. And the idea behind that is that it gives us an opportunity to do fewer levels in late game, which are typically a little bit longer. So we're just going to bypass some levels in Dark Rapture by doing a couple more like Dark Forest levels early on to get to that nice 85 number that we're looking for. That was Late Forest. Again, this is like the tutorial chapter. So the game, is just kind of guiding you through the basic mechanics, just showing you that there's a lot of saws and you're inevitably going to run into them at some point. So now we're in the dark levels. You'll notice that Jankmo did wait to beat the boss because it's a little bit slower to beat the boss and then menu back in and then go to the dark stages. So we just do all of the main levels in one go and then we do the boss for each chapter, which is why we haven't done Little Slugger yet. We'll see that soon. Ooh, fun auto jump strat there from Jankmo on 17X, just flinging himself into the wall. Yeah, you'll see that's kind of handy for a lot of small time saves throughout the run. It looks pretty funny on a couple of levels too.
Safety.
Yeah, also used just to kind of protect yourself in some cases. There's a little bit of other tech too that you might see, but it's a little bit more subtle. So there's something called storage jumps that Jankmo's going to do from time to time. And basically, how that works is Meat Boy's state, whether he's in the ground or in the air, finishing a level transfers over to the start of the next level. So if Meat Boy finishes one level in an airbound state, then he's going to start the next level also in the air. So that's useful for some jumps that we can effectively store from the previous level. It just kind of gives him some additional height at the start of some levels and allows for a little bit of cycle skipping and things like that. So be on the lookout for that. It is very subtle, but it is a pretty major piece of tech that comes in handy for some cycle skips later on. And Jankmo is also going to be doing dual jumping, which wasn't really a thing back when I was running this category. But I don't know, Jankmo, do you want to talk about dual jumps?
So the game tracks, on PC, the game tracks keyboard and controller jump inputs separately. So you can actually bind both keys, and you have two different jump buttons basically. So if you jump with your controller jump input and you can cancel it with the keyboard jump input, it only works that way for some reason. But you can basically just cancel your jump without having to repress the jump button.
Yeah, so that's good for very small amount of time saved throughout the run, but it's a really nice optimization that you'll see top level runners going for.
We just finished Little Slugger, which is just an auto scroller. Not to be confused with an auto runner, which, speaking of which, Super Meat Boy Forever came out just a couple days ago on the Epic Games Store.
Nice plug.
The segues. What a pro.
Yep. Yeah, Super Meat Boy Forever did just drop. People have been having a lot of fun with that. It's surprisingly deep for an auto runner. People have been having a lot of fun with trying some random seed speed runs in that. So definitely recommend checking that out too. So here we are in Hospital. The difficulty starts to spike from here, so we have some fans coming into the mix now. Fan physics are kind of wonky, because the closer you get to a fan, the farther you fly. So you'll see Jankmo there, kind of clinging really close to the fan so that he can just avoid doing part of the level. Otherwise, if you're really far away from the fan, you're just not going to get the distance that you need for certain strats.
This level 2.8 has a really risky, not worthwhile strat to go for. It saves a half second.
And Jankmo's totally gonna go for it. Just kidding. Not today. We will see some pretty silly stuff from Jankmo in Hell, I think.
Yeah.
But, that's later on. But yeah, so yeah, there's some funky strats. This game's all about just kind of playing it smart. There's a lot of very RTA unfriendly stuff that you can go for, but in most cases we try to keep things relatively safe so that we just don't die as much, because dying is the most costly thing that you can do in terms of speedrunning this game. If you can reduce your number of deaths, then it's gonna definitely pay off more in the long run. Jig mode just menued out, so we're gonna see that a couple of times throughout the run. Again, we're just looking to do any 17 light levels that are the fastest for a given chapter. So Jigmo skipped 14 and 15 because light and dark levels combined, it's just a little bit slower to do those levels as opposed to menuing out and doing 18 and 19.
Big application of a sword jump in T16. I purposely ended that level on the wall so I could combine it with auto jump on T17 to catch the fast cycle.
Yeah, there's a lot of very small details like that. If you're a small detail person, this is the speedrun for you. Because there's just a lot of like small tenths of seconds that get saved here and there, which add up to a lot of time saved over the course of like a 40-minute run. So now we're in Dark Hospital. Great track. This is one of my favorite songs in the game, I think.
Pretty tricky chapter though.
Pretty tricky chapter. Yep. I mean, none of them are really easy, are they?
I mean, they never said this game was easy, right?
It's not.
Ooh, lost your stream for a second there.
Looks like my stream just froze for a second.
Jank?
Oops. Huh.
Did your OBS freeze, Jank?
Hold on. Did it? Still be going.
Oh, I got it back.
Alright. Good old technical difficulties.
Yeah, the joys of having events online.
It's part of the live entertainment thing. Yeah. But yeah, so these levels, yeah, this is where the game definitely starts to ramp up in difficulty. Jakemo's going for 27x here. This is a really fun out of bounds strat, so Jakemo's going to go down the left side of this level and then pop back in with a very precise wall slide and jump out of the wall slide. It's a really fun strat, one of my favorites. Just looks so cool. And it's extremely hard to get consistent, because you, again, have really no visual cue for it. And, oh, go ahead.
Apparently our connection to Twitch got disrupted there, but we're back now. So
We're
hi.
back in action. Oh no. Oh, they might have missed 27x. Go back, Janko. We have to see. For the fans, we have to see it.
I already lost some time having to check if everything's alright.
Alright, fair enough.
We're not the world record, unfortunately.
Just keep going.
World record for this category is quite insane.
It's ridiculous.
19 seconds by Vorpal.
Yeah, 2 people have beaten this in under 35 minutes. Which, if you think about just the sheer amount of things you have to do for the category, it's kind of bonkers. Because it's like, you're doing 85 light levels, actually a couple more than 85 light levels, and then you're also doing 85 dark levels, plus all the bosses. So, yeah, those two, Vorpal and Mate, are just on another plane.
And Wormham is the other person that has a sub 36 minute time in this category.
Well, shucks. Yeah. I do have a 35-ish. It was almost a 36 because I got nervous. But yeah, this is a very overlooked category for this game. There's still a lot of room for improvement, I think, overall compared to the other two. People are more likely to run any percent of 106, but this is a really fun one in its own right.
Can't wait till we see sub 34 one day.
I've heard that Vorpal is pretty good at video games.
Alright, so here's the skip I'm gonna go. Just go for
Definitely.
So by grabbing that second key quickly, I can prevent having to wait, because otherwise that the blood is gonna stop for like 5 seconds.
Yeah, so moving fast enough allows Jankmo to not have to wait. It's time save. A lot of the bosses have small skips. Well, not really small skips, as we'll see with the next chapter, but skips. Definitely skips. So now we're in Salt Factory. There's salt. Still lots of saws. And we'll also see conveyor belts pop in too. Conveyor belts are really kind of funky. Jankmo's going to go for a couple of fun strats with conveyors in a second here. But yeah, basically running into them, or like running in the opposite direction of them really slows down your speed like a lot. But moving into them, especially jumping into them, gives you like a ton of momentum, as we're seeing as Jankmo's going up on some of these levels.
Pretty interesting strat I'm going to try to do here.
For 3-7.
I didn't get it.
Oh no.
But I think I got the backup skip. Nailed it.
Really scary. That's like a frame perfect. Excuse me.
Frame.
Frame perfect trick. I didn't just come off of a full one.
Yeah, what I was trying to do was try to get something called a wall slide on that conveyor belt, and if I were to have gotten that, I would have gotten a ton of vertical momentum, and I would have been able to just fly to the end.
Yeah, it's really ridiculous how much momentum you can get off of those conveyors if you time a slide correctly. But yeah, we'll see more conveyors soon. Also, especially in the dark levels, there's some really tough skips that Jankmo might go for.
Pretty silly out there.
You know, those happen.
I mean, I feel like every run I gotta find a new way to die, and that's one of them.
That's the joy of speedrunning, really, in a nutshell. Finding new ways to mess up runs. And yeah, this game, like the movement's so precise that it's very easy to just catch a bad slide or mess up your position even slightly, and there's a death, you know. We're gonna go for mono skip here.
Mono skip I'm gonna go for. We get it.
Nice. Yeah, mono skip's really tough. Basically, what you're doing there is you're just ignoring the platform that's moving towards you at the end of the level, and you just say, "See you later."
There's another skip right there. I think it's about 6 seconds.
Yes, so instead of waiting for all the lock walk to disappear, Jankmo just goes over the top of the level, like a boss. The timing for that is really tough because there's 2 moving saws at the end of that stage that you saw. So you have to like wiggle between them so that you don't lose time.
Alright, Dark Style Factor. This is where the run kind of starts to get real because it's just really easy to have a lot of really costly deaths that are like 10 to 15 seconds long.
Yeah, so yeah, the earlier chapters obviously a little bit shorter. This is where A, deaths are more likely to happen, and B, deaths are also more likely to happen like 10 to 15 seconds into a level. So this is really where the run gets scary if you're on PvP pace. Yeah, it basically stays scary until you're done. So,
yeah.
Yeah, pretty stressful category. But yeah, so we, again, like, you know, all of these dark levels are just basically modified light levels that are just, you know, made more difficult in some way. So here we have, like, crumbling blocks underneath Meat Boy's feet that we have to be accounting for. We also have to do an entire back and forth there without dying. It's really tough. Now we see conveyors being really mean on this level because we also have saws coming down, while Jankmo is using those conveyors to...
Almost tasted fate right there.
Oh my god, I saw that was really scary. Yeah, conveyors are really tough, especially when you have saws coming at you. Who'd have thunk?
Alright. Oh man, what's going on here?
3-5x, oh boy.
I'm just missing keys.
Yeah, this one's tough. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to get a key to make the locks disappear on the right-hand conveyor. And it's hard. This level's a lot easier with alternate characters, like Joseph.
That's a lot of time lost, and I didn't even die.
Yeah. Thankfully, so we don't need to get A+ for the dark levels. We only need A+ for the light levels. A+ are just like par times set by the developers, and if you beat light levels under that par time, you get an A+ rank, which opens up the dark levels. We don't really need A+ for dark levels, so if Jankmo needs to take like 45 hours on on a dark level, he can if he wants.
I hope he doesn't take 45 hours. That'll mess up the schedule a little bit.
Just a little bit. Little did Railcoon know that this event would be going on for 2 days.
Oh no.
Yeah. Also for this category, you'll see warp zones and bandages and other things that we can do every once in a while. They're just not necessary, so we don't do any of them. We just have to reach Bandage Girl for all these levels.
The reason we do Dark World first before the boss is it eliminates the chance of us running into glitch troll on any level of the chapter.
Right.
And that just unlocks like bonus stages that we don't care about.
Well, some people do care about them.
Not for this category.
Don't be so crass.
Oh man.
You're gonna get canceled by the 106% community. Oh my god.
I was gonna say, it's also just faster, isn't it? Because you don't have to watch the cutscene and then go back to the previous world.
Yeah, there's
You gotta do as well.
right. It's just not helpful.
Alright, so I just skipped like an entire like 20-second level there.
That 311X skip is so fun. Yeah, there's like 20 seconds of level off to the right there, but Jangmo just jumps around the saws and skips everything. It's really fun. There's a really wacky strat on this salmon-colored level, which saves a platform cycle, but nobody in their right mind goes for it.
Vorpal.
Except for Jangmo right now, just kidding.
I mean, Vorpal.
Yeah, I was gonna say, whenever you say that, I just assume that Vorpal goes for it, because Vorpal is ridiculous.
Right, yeah. Precisely. That's a safe assumption. Vorpal has something like 3,000 hours in this game, so...
Or 4,000.
Maybe 4,000 at this point, I've lost count. Yeah.
So the ending of this level is particularly nasty.
It is, because there's saws waiting for you at the very end, and also you have to like, you have to just kind of like awkwardly finagle your way into that little.
You do have to slow yourself down, otherwise you won't be able to get in that one block hole.
Right, because slide momentum would mess up your ability to get over to Bandage Girl. You would just slide down the wall. Yes, this one's fun. We can't actually skip the lock blocks on 3H next, the yellow colored level. Just because
Strat there where I just detach from the conveyor belts.
Yeah, so much going on. Let's do Brownie. So this is a boss skip here. Jangmo just goes to the right, out of bounds, gets back in bounds with an auto jump.
You have to do something like a sprint jump there, where you do a wall jump without holding sprint, and then you sprint as you jump, and that allows you to stay closer to the wall. Otherwise, you go too far out of bounds and die.
Oh yeah, didn't talk about sprint jumps. It's funny, because this is like a run and jump platformer, but there's like 4 different types of jumps.
Alright.
At least.
Dang, that's a tough stuff. On to Hell, this is where all like the crazy strats are.
Yeah, so Jangmo's gonna go for a couple of strats.
Although, like, in this next level after this.
In White Hell, yeah. So we're gonna see Hex skip in a second, potentially. This saves 3 seconds just by skipping the platform. Let's see if he gets it.
Easy!
Did you get it first try? Wow.
In my practice runs yesterday, I died on that, like, once on each run.
That is, like, one of the hardest level strats.
The next level is another really hard strat I'm gonna try.
Oh boy, we're going for Rickets. So Jangmo's gonna try to jump over.
Alright, can't do the second part. But...
Hey, you got the first half.
Hey, we got a single Rickets, if you will.
You got single Rickets. Half Rickets.
Warm Ham yesterday, like last night, wanted to call it Rick.
You can call it Rick, yeah. Why not?
Yeah, there is another like wall jump that you can do in between those 2 saws, and if I were to have done that successfully, I would have saved about 2 seconds.
Yeah, this is tough. Fireball cycles are really scary. They're basically kind of like Donkey Kong barrels. Jangmo was kind of pointing that out to me yesterday, and I never really made that connection.
Yeah, 4-8 is called Weeby after Steve Weeby. He's known for having high scores in Donkey Kong. So there's a couple laser skips that you can do here. I just did one on that last level. On this level, I'm gonna jump around that laser.
Nice. That eyeball skip is very tough.
This one, I'm gonna jump like in between the lasers, which this strat is actually like a lot harder than it looks harder than it actually is.
Yeah. That one's really fun, and it's actually it's really not that bad to execute. Because you're just kind of like bumping up against all the raised blocks there.
Unfortunately, this is where all the interesting strats end. There's not really too much interesting going on with the rest of these levels.
Well, I think 419 is very fun because all you do is just stand on the platform and wait.
You can
As we're about to
juggle
see.
these mods if you want. Some
You can
people
juggle
really
them.
like struts on this level. It looks
Yeah.
kind of funny.
Because yeah, basically what happens is the Moz, those enemies that are attacking, basically stop attacking once Meat Boy hides under a block, because they can no longer detect Meat Boy.
Alright, on the Dark Hell, another really difficult segment. Dang.
These levels are all hard. Yeah.
And yeah, this first level is really difficult.
Yeah,
So
you can go
they're
between the
great.
two saws on the right there. It's just so ridiculous and not worth it.
You did it in your run, though.
After like 5 tries, I think I got it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of really insane strats here as well, but I don't really go for very many of them.
Yeah, I think the best strat for Dark Hell is just do what is safe.
The best strat is to not die, obviously.
Correct. That's our mantra
yeah.
in the Super Meat Boy community.
I mean, yeah, better to avoid dying than to try to do a strat that only saves like a couple seconds.
Yeah.
He's definitely had it really quick.
Yeah, are you doing 46x storage jump for the cycle?
I'm gonna try to do it, but
Okay. Let's see.
I don't do the full skip. You can actually like skip the cycle, but it's really difficult.
It's really tough, yeah.
Fortunately here, no interesting like kind of double ricket strat.
No.
Or I
Again,
can jump right into the saw.
when in doubt, add more saws, I think was the, was
Oh,
the
you're gonna have some silly deaths in
MO.
here. This level is really difficult.
48x, yeah, this one's really tough. Again, because we have the fireballs on the ground, and they're moving in the opposite direction of Meat Boy. It's really tough, but Jigmo gets it. That one's really tough.
Okay, missed the portal there. Man,
Portals are also a little bit funky.
just a bit of it. So kind of a example of what can happen to you in Dark Denny. You can just like die a bunch on a level.
Yeah, it's very easy to get stuck on levels that you think you have down, for sure. Like 49x, I don't think a lot of people practice because it's like not that.
Yeah, that level's not even that difficult, but
Right. But
Okay.
as we can see, sometimes you just
tried
start
to go
dying
for
a
a bit
bunch.
of a cycle skip there, but I messed up and I died unfortunately. These fireballs have very strange hitboxes.
Yeah, definitely.
A lot of hitboxes in this game are kind of weird.
A little bit interesting, yeah. Yeah, sometimes Meat Boy, yeah, when Meat Boy's like standing on a platform, sometimes he just explodes. Like suddenly.
I'm gonna try to jump around the laser like this.
Yep, double eyeball skip, really fun. Really tough.
This level you can do a similar strat to the light version, but it's much more difficult because this laser tracks you much faster.
Yeah, and also I believe the structure that the eyeball was in is also a little bit more raised off the ground, so it's a little bit harder to get a jump. $414X, probably easier than 414. I don't know if you agree with that.
This next level, 416X, has a really insane skip where you can jump in between these spikes and avoid like the laser and the maw at the same time.
Yeah, it's better to not. Just don't do it. So yeah, and we're just about done with Dark Hell, so we're coming up on the quote-unquote hardest boss. Gonna put a lot of quotation marks around that one.
You could probably
It
put a
is-
few more quotation marks around it.
It is hard. Alright.
Jingmo has died on it. Yeah, I've seen it.
Oh, I'm sure everyone has who's run this game at some point. Alright, so what I'm gonna do for this boss is I'm gonna jump in this spot and I'm gonna jump 3 times. There's the first jump, here's the second jump. Third jump is coming up. Yeah, this boss is extremely difficult, so...
Yeah. Yeah. Don't forget the auto jump pause buffer tech. It's really gonna help you out here.
Yeah, oh, okay. Here's very important moments coming up.
Oh, the third jump.
Oh man, that was so close.
Clutch. So clutch.
Okay, but all jokes aside, this is like your only real break in the run, so here's my reminder to stay hydrated.
Thank you, actually. I've been sipping some nice herbal tea while we've been chatting. But,
Alright, so you see like a white flash in this cutscene, and for some reason, and this cutscene doesn't get rid of it correctly when we skip it, so the next level we enter, it's gonna stay there for a couple seconds.
yeah, very hard to get a good visual on where you're going on this first drop, so deaths happen very often here. Let's see how Jankmo does. Ooh, oh, tough, okay.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this is a very cycle-based level, and you can't really see what you're doing at the beginning, but the beginning, like, really matters.
Yeah, you have to land basically right down in the middle structure, otherwise you're going to be off cycle. We have repulsors in this chapter, so this chapter is really notorious for a lot of reasons. The repulsors are really tough to get used to because they, like, mess with Meat Boy's gravity a little bit. They send him airborne, they also kind of, like, send him shooting very quickly in directions that you would not expect sometimes. This also has the most infamous boss in the game, I think. Larry.
Wall slide there. So sometimes when you like try to do a wall jump, sometimes you'll like just slide up the wall or you get like a tiny little hop.
Random wall slides are great most of the time.
They're kind of annoying. We kind of don't really want to see them in runs. In some ILs, it's kind of a necessity, but
yes, they often kill you because you don't expect them, but sometimes they can save time.
So what is a wall slide in that context?
it's so like what happened at the end of 5-4, I kind of like slid up the wall instead of like jumped off of it.
Oh, okay.
Alright, so 5-9 introduces these like abomination zombie Meat Boy things, and they're kind of annoying because their behavior is kind of random.
They are. So ideally, Jankmo is able to group all the abominations together. So that they
lure them into the saw on the left, on the right.
Right. Yeah, we want them to just like move basically in the direction that we're moving, so that they just die and hit saws and stuff. But that doesn't always work out.
Tight. Oh man. So I'm gonna go for some tight jumps here to try to catch a fast cycle. Real easy to die on those 2 jumps.
Yeah, this is tough. Sometimes the abominations chase you at the end of this level.
This level, it's very important to jump over that warp zone.
Yeah. Otherwise, we go to Sunshine Island, which sounds nice in theory, but bad in practice.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like it'd be good for speed.
No, it's too relaxing.
Okay, in this level, there's a pretty, this is a strat called the Chani Jump. Developed recently by a runner named Chani as like a faster save strat. It's not the fastest strat, but it's faster than the normal save strat.
Yeah, it's like a second slower than the fastest, and it's super consistent, because you have no visual cue because you're totally midair and there's nothing around you for a couple seconds, and you have to land like on the bottom of the level. So the Chani Jump makes it consistent.
This level is kind of tricky. Oh man, lots of really tight jumps you gotta do.
Yeah, this is tough. I definitely don't like the dark version of this one.
Jump in between these repulsors. This level, I was able to skip a cycle by carrying a missile into those disappearing blocks. In this level, I'm gonna grab the key and I'm just gonna float on this repulsor. Ooh! Wasn't paying attention.
It's very easy to lose focus here because you are basically just floating for 15 seconds.
Yeah, usually I don't die, but
yeah, basically you have to like kind of wiggle so that you stay like above the repulsor as opposed to like getting flung to the side of it. It's very kind of strange movement.
Alright, on the Dark Rapture, on this first level, there's a bit of a skip I'm gonna go for. That skip's about like 10-15 seconds.
Nice, first try.
Yeah.
It's a tough one. Because basically what you're doing there is you're getting like a very small double jump off of a single tile there. It's really tough.
Alright, so we're actually gonna skip 5-3x. It's worth noting that the fastest route actually does that level over Forest level 19, but 5-3X is a very long cycle-based level. And in order for that route to be faster, you have to do that level. You have to catch a very fast cycle on it, and that level is just a nightmare.
It is so hard to do with Meat Boy. And honestly, most other characters. Yeah, 5-3X is one of the hardest levels in the game. I've always struggled with it. So we skip it.
And also, it's worth noting, so I skipped level 4-2 in Hell. 4-2 and 4-2X are like kind of long auto scroll. Are kind of like long auto scrollers. But it's worth noting that that route is actually faster if you're able to do 4-2X quickly.
Yeah. Those levels are only really necessary if you're going for like top times. Most runners, I think, would just opt out of 4-2 and 4-2X because, again, the deaths are super costly on those ones, so we just don't bother. Lots of routing for such a straightforward category. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of like variation in route. When you're starting out, you can kind of just do like what you're most comfortable with.
Yeah, definitely. So we noticed, again, Jakemo's skipping a lot of Dark Rapture levels because we did those earlier Dark Forest levels that were just a little bit faster in general.
5-9X is a level that no one ever wants to do. Oh man, I'm gonna try to go for a really sick-looking strat on this level.
So Jakemo's gonna jump off the side of this.
That's tough.
Yep. Jakemo's jumping off the side of this ground, using the repulsor to fling himself upwards to the end of the level.
Alright, we're just gonna wait. Usually you can jump over that last saw, but it's such a tough death, I'm just gonna wait, play it safe.
It's risky, yep. Now we have the disappearing platforms. These are really tough to get a hang of, especially on this next level.
513 and 513X are kind of annoying. Like there, you can kind of just unfortunately get like clip inside of them as it's spawning. It can really mess you up.
Yeah, if you clip, you're basically done for. There's like really no way to back it up on this level. Again, we're using that auto jump strat that I was talking about earlier, just to again kind of help out where needed. If we need very like, you know, frame specific jumps, auto jumping just allows us to input a jump faster than we would normally.
That level is normally a very long level, but we can just jump around the outside and save a couple of keys. Man.
This level is a real pain.
Yep. Sometimes when you die, one of the worms that are supposed to spawn on the ceiling sometimes spawns on the floor, and it's impossible to beat it that way. Thankfully that didn't happen.
And in the closing levels of Dark Rapture here, we're about to, on this next level, we're going to test Twitch chat's ability to count to 6.
Yep.
Hope y'all are ready.
Alright. Get ready.
Here we go. Alright, try to count to 6, but Jakemo's going to do 6 jumps on this level.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hey, we did it. Alright, so on to the boss of Rapture. So, unfortunately, this is the only like real RNG aspect of the run. There's 3 worms. Ideally, we want them to all to jump into the saws as soon as possible, but they don't always do that. Ah, dang! Didn't get perfect RNG. You can kind of manipulate it. Like I tried to pause the game and see if I could manipulate it a little bit, but I didn't get the timing quite right. And
World record number of cycles is 60.
something like that, yeah.
Ish.
Average is like 4 or 5, and this is not looking so good.
Larry is not happy today.
Larry is not pleased. Larry's like, Jankmo, you were doing too good.
Well, I mean, that was alright, I
There
guess.
we go. Oh my
There
goodness.
we got it.
Well, good
It's
thing
scary.
Good thing I didn't get like a 90 cycle like Ham said he wanted me to get.
I did want a 90 cycle for the fans, but
But I mean,
Not
I
today.
guess, you know, that was not a very good Larry, so I guess it's good enough.
maybe next time. Maybe
All
during
right.
Shred's 106 run. Knock on
On
wood.
the end, you can do a precise jump on this level to skip having to grab some keys. It saves about 10 seconds.
So we're doing 0 dark end levels, the dark
Yep,
counterparts of these levels,
already
because
done,
we already have 85 at this
We've
point.
already done all 85.
And these are all pretty long.
Yep, that was a 20-second level. Here I'm going to try to catch a quick cycle, but unfortunately I screwed up. So we're going to catch a really slow cycle instead. Okay, we're just going to wait. Not too familiar with the cycle. Cycle-based levels are terrible to get off cycle on because you just kind of have to make stuff up. On this level, I'm going to try to go for a fast cycle. Alright, we got this part.
Yeah, this is like commonplace now. This setup. I never went for this.
Yeah,
the
it's
time running
pretty,
this game.
pretty new strat. Only implemented in the past couple years. Took a tough step there. So
Like
that's
the
not like
back-to-back auto jumps.
that's not the full fast strat, but that's like a backup fast strat. Still about a second faster. There I tried to go for something called a 6-tile jump, but I wasn't able to successfully execute it.
Yeah, so 6-tile is basically just the height that Jankmo's trying to get in between those two platforms on the
It's
right.
very difficult. There I did a strat called keyless to skip a section there to the right where I had to grab a key.
And here we go, boss
Going
time.
on to Dr. Fetus. So this is kind of an auto-scroll where you're supposed to be sandwiched between these two saw towers with Fetus shooting missiles at you. But what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to go over this saw tower in front of me. And then that allows me to just go to the end at my leisure. So what we have to do is we're going to have to beat Dr. Fetus here in the light world and then come back and beat him in the dark world. So it's not quite over yet.
Now, astute viewers who have not seen a speedrun before might wonder, well, Jankmo, how are you going to not die when the saws pass over you?
True. So you might be thinking that, and for some reason we're standing on this button, and for some reason buttons just make us invincible. So the saws, when they come back to us, they're just gonna fly over us.
And that is true of both the light fetus boss and the dark fetus boss.
Spoilers.
Wow.
Sorry. I'll see myself out.
All right, so onto the escape. This structure that we're on is like gonna explode, so we have to get out. And there's a little bit of extra platforming that we can do, but we can just like skip that by jumping off the side there. So that was like Dr. Fetus, and we gotta go back and do it in the dark world.
You got this. As you can imagine, Dark Dr. Fetus is a lot like Light Dr. Fetus, but more saws.
Yep, exactly. You can do the same saw tower skip, but it's much tighter.
Reminding you now to not skip the dark cutscene.
Oh yeah, in both of our practice runs last night, I skipped like the ending, which is like the whole point of this category.
Right to credits both times.
Well, I mean, it's understandable for Light Fetus because that's like a minute that...
Yeah, I get it. You're still speedrunning.
Yep,
You know,
we can
you're
actually
still
skip the
speedrunning.
credits by pressing the backspace key. So we're on the button for Dark Fetus. All that's left now is the Dark Escape, so time will come up when I get to the ending cutscene. And let's hopefully not skip it.
Gonna start with an auto jump strat here. Which is really tight. Oh, first try, nice. A tough one.
Alright, Dark Escape is actually like quite challenging. This jump right here is scary.
Yeah, because you have to like go into the saw basically on that one.
Alright, we're
And
just
that's
gonna
like
wait.
intended to.
Time. What's my time? I forgot to open my splits.
40-33.
Not bad. Not bad.
GG's. Really tough category.
Yep. So if you're interested in speedrunning this game, consider checking out the Super Meat Boy speedrunning Discord. Just lots of great and helpful people in the community, and this game is pretty easy to learn and pick up. Maybe not dark ending, you can start with any percent and just get used to the movement and whatnot.
Yeah, we do have a great community. A lot of them are busy running Super Meat Boy Forever, which just dropped, but trust me, if you have questions about this game, they'll stop and answer them too. Yeah, so light ending cutscene and dark ending cutscene are very similar to one another, except for one major difference at the end of this cutscene.
So Dr. Fetus is going to be banished or what, but this is the part that's not in the light version. Oh, what's going on? Do we want to become friends?
I forgot how terribly violent this is, oh my gosh. Oh no.
No, let's not do that. And then Fetus just gets stomped to death.
They don't call it dark ending for nothing.
Face. It's so good.
I don't know, link and thumbs up. Alright, so the last thing, let's see how many times I died in this run. I'm expecting it to be like in the 50s or something. I felt like I died quite a lot. 44. That's about alright. That's about average, I guess.
That's good. About a death a minute-ish?
Yeah.
Nice.
I think you have like 20, so.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for having us on. It was really fun to come back and not be running this category, but to be able to comment about it.
Yeah, thanks.
Much less stressful.
Do you two have any shoutouts before we move on?
Shoutouts to Shred doing 106% at AGDQ 21. That's going to be sick. Definitely be on the lookout for that.
Really cool run. And I already shouted out the Meatboard community. But yeah, thanks again, Ham, for joining me on commentary.
Oh, my pleasure. It was a lot of fun to do this with you.
Yep.
All right.
All right, that's it from us.
All right, thank you so much for coming on, doing the run, and helping with commentary to both of you. We're going to take another quick break here. We've got 2 more games for you all tonight. Coming up next is going to be Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair. At AGDQ 2021, they're going to be doing 24Bs, I think is the category. And we're going to be doing a category that's quite a bit different from that. It's going to be all overworld tonics. So stay tuned for that. But just as a quick reminder, this is a weekly show. And when we're not doing special episodes like this, we feature games that are suggested by the community. Games that don't get the spotlight as often, or categories that don't get shown as frequently in marathons. So if you think you know a game that deserves a spotlight, you can type !spotlight in chat. There's a link there you can click, and you can fill out a form and tell us games that you'd like to see here every week, Mondays starting at 7 p.m. Eastern. But with that out of the way, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to get set up for the next game. We're going to play a few ads while we're doing that. If you're subscribed, you won't see those ads, but if you're not subscribed, we'd appreciate it if you would consider subscribing, as Hotfix is funded in part thanks to your subscriptions and bits. But we'll be right back with Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair in just a few minutes. All right, everyone, welcome back to the Community Spotlight. We just took another quick break after Super Meat Boy, and we're going to be moving into our third game of the night, Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair. We've got all overworld tonics for you, which is going to be considerably different from what's going to be shown at AGDQ, which is going to be the 24Bs, I believe. Is that right?
Yes.
And this is a pretty different category. Do you want to go over what's different about this compared to 24Bs?
Okay, so the main difference here is that we won't be entering any levels. This game has 40 levels, 40 plus actually. We won't be entering any of that. We'll be strictly on the overworld, collecting these tonics. And pretty much you can think of a tonic as an ability you can apply to yourself with that gives you some sort of effect. So either run faster, roll faster, give more quills, etc. And so the goal is just to explore see as much of the overworld as possible without entering levels. Pretty much.
And of course, that's Diceron, who's going to be doing the run for us, and we've got Hedwig joining us on commentary.
Yay, hello.
We're still getting some skips. Hang on, give us a second to see if we can get this resolved. It started doing this after you turned on your webcam. Try flipping that off just to see if it stops.
I mean, I could not have it on if that's...
Yeah.
If that makes it easier.
Yeah, try just turning the webcam off. We'll see if that's... maybe connection is just
Like, I
not
don't need it
liking
on.
having two separate feeds going. So we'll give that a few seconds to see if it's more stable now. And of course, what is the 24B category? Just to kind of get into the differences while we're waiting to make sure that's better.
Yeah, the 24Bs category is kind of the favorite category in which we actually finish the game amongst the Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair speedrunners. So as Diceron mentioned earlier, there's 40 levels, which is like 20 levels, both in two different states, and at the end of which, if you complete it, you get a B. And there's some Bs on the overworld as well, making a total of 48. And 48 Bs is just quite much, so pretty early on we decided to just have a category that's like half of the game in a way, that adds some routing to what we actually do, what we skip, and then we enter the final level after those and beat the game. So yeah, like a lot of actual 2D level movement in the actual 24Bs run, while this is all just fun on the overworld, which is like its own little 3D adventure game in itself if you want.
Alright, that sounds good. I'm looking at it, seems better. We should be able to at least manage with this. It looks like it's smoothing out. So are you ready to get started?
I am ready.
Want to give me a countdown when you're good to go then?
I'm getting the countdown. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go.
Woo!
Overall tonics. So
My
yeah,
go.
I'll also mention that I'm playing on the Switch version because it's the most performance. It's the best performance version for me, unfortunately. So I guess I'll explain. There's going to be a bunch of tricks which we'll get to as they come up, pretty much immediately. So you don't want to miss like anything. Should also note that there are actually 62 tonics in this game. However, we're only getting 60 because one of them is not on the overworld and the other one is on the overworld, but you kind of have to beat like more than half the game to get it. So it's kind of defeats the purpose of the category. So that's ignored for this.
Yeah, exactly. Like, given it has like its own little special spot and is supposed to be like an overworld only category, we kind of kicked that one out as we needed to.
So pretty much as soon as we start, I'm gonna get a tonic, like right in the ground. Pretty much tonics are just hidden in puzzles. And now we're gonna quickly just jump on Queen Phoebe, I think it is. I forgot her name.
Yeah, Queen Phoebe.
And get another tonic. Now a lot of these tonics will be getting way out of order because it's fast too.
Yeah, usually we're supposed to talk to those little signs who are called Planker, and they give us little hints at like a small puzzle that we can do in the overworld to achieve the tonics. But yeah, obviously Diceron knows all of their locations and doesn't have to collect the
Slippery.
quills for that. So quills are like a little currency that we can collect in 2D levels and in the overworld, and you're gonna see him collect some of them to, in the end, be able to afford to open a chest to actually enter a place which otherwise would require a really hard trick that isn't really showcase safe.
Oh yeah, so we're kind of out of bounds already. As Hedwig was explaining stuff. Got to do a trick called... Where am I? There we go. Got to do a trick called Air Swim, which I'll let Hedwig explain why I do this.
Yeah, so when we hit a water plane in this game, the game constantly tries to take us to the surface of the water plane. So like Yooka always wants to swim on water. So if we hit it from below, it'll constantly push us up. But if we are not actually in a place where Yooka can rise to the surface of the water plane, like right here, as you see, under the ground that we'd usually walk on, we can just swim infinitely in the water plane without actually ever getting out of it. And the only way of getting out is hitting a loading zone, which Diceron is going to try and do in a specific way, actually, to cheese his way to yet another tonic.
I think I missed it. Oh well. Yeah, you need to hit that angle at a specific, or that loading zone at a specific angle with enough speed. And it skips having this little puzzle, which is not too big a deal. But it is a time loss if you don't hit that. And this is our 4th tonic. Now the reason we come over here is it's kind of far away, and also it's quick access to a B. Now, we mentioned what Bs are before. Pretty much I'll need one B this run, so I have the ability to warp on the map. For some reason you can't warp until then, so... And conveniently, this 1B is on the way. But we have a few tonics to get for now. So...
Yeah, interestingly, like, the movement on the overworld is usually restricted through our fancy little snake in pants called Trouser, who put up literal paywalls, which he wants us to collect twit coins for to actually pay him to lower those paywalls and be able to access new areas of the map. We need exactly none of that, as we can use skips in the overworld to reach every single part.
Alright.
So does this category do the finale level, or is it just the tonics?
It is just the tonics. It has not a single bit of 2D gameplay in it.
So I just tried going for a kind of precise skip, which allowed me to skip that platform. But no big deal. Just get this back up. So also you'll notice what I just did just there was I jumped off that little pipe dude thing. I don't know what the name is. Pipo? Mini Pipo, I guess.
Mini Pipo, yeah.
And pretty much in this game, in the overworld, if you can see something, you can probably stand on it, because everything is collision. It's pretty great, and we can take advantage of that, as I've done so far a bunch of times, to go out of bounds, skip some puzzles, do lots of cool things. So now I'll be grabbing this bomb, because I'll be using it very shortly to open up a wall. There's a junction with 4 different pathways, and there's 4 switches, 1 on each side. I'll be hitting the first one right here after this tonic, and once you unlock all 4 gates, it spawns a tonic in the middle. It's kind of a clever puzzle. Also, it's a good shortcut for overworld travel. And now here's our great friend Pipo. Oh boy.
Yeah,
so I need
one of the hardest tricks incoming.
Yeah, I need to climb on this arm as it goes up. It's kind of tight to do this. And then roll off a certain way. Let's see. Oh, nope. Gotta get the rollout though first. This is a big skip. It skips having to do a big puzzle. Ah.
Yeah, I mean, to put it into perspective, the air swim that you did earlier to even reach the desert already also skips half of the overworld. So,
That
like,
is true.
casually, it would require, like, 5, 6, 7 hours to even reach this place.
It's a little precise, so hope it doesn't take too long. It's definitely one of the hardest tricks in the run.
Yeah, it looks really tough.
Yeah, the hitbox for where you want to stand on it
There we go.
actually extends a little bit from what we see.
Yeah, that's one of the more notorious tricks in the run. It's a big run killer, especially at high level. And now this is honestly the worst part of the run is dealing with these moving sand things. I hate these so much. I'm so bad at hitting them. So yeah, I need enough quills. I need 1,000 quills with this route I'm doing. There is a route that skips quills and does another trick at the end of the run, but not too well versed in that, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Now
also like we don't have a consistent setup for it.
Now I'm just gonna casually just clip through this roof because why not?
No, ground pounding onto
Nice.
roofs makes you clip through, right? That's how it works.
It's probably like, I think it seemed like somehow I don't know actually how it works specifically. But yeah, and this also skips another puzzle. You have to unlock a key, so there's a lot of this, which is why this category is so cool. You just completely break open the overworld.
Yeah, a thing that just came to my mind that's really funny is that we have this category where we collect all of the tonics, but we don't really use them ever in any speedruns. Like they would be really fast in normal speedruns, like both in full game speedruns and like any other speedrun that actually has 2D levels, but we excluded them, or like we separated leaderboards for playing with tonics, because right from the start we realized that even though Playtonic had good intentions with giving us possibilities of like speeding up to like supersonic levels with those tonics, it actually makes the gameplay quite unenjoyable at parts. Like if you equip all the speed tonics, it's like you're barely even able to control the characters anymore.
I should try that someday.
That sounds like a challenge run sort of thing.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Especially trying to do the finale level. Well, I guess you can't do tonics in that one, can you?
Yeah, exactly. Tonics don't apply on the final level.
So this is a little puzzle room where you get these fire berries and have to burn the grass here. Oops, I didn't know I got it. So we can get some more tonics. We'll be using these berries a few more times. Ooh, wow, I don't know how that worked. That was lucky.
Same, actually.
So I'm gonna take the safe route here. And I fell. Take the safe route and fall. Yeah, we're pretty much done in this room. We just have one more. They really put a lot here. Also, I think, is this the room? One of these rooms, these cave rooms, has like one of the sign, like the planker signs, just sitting there. Like, it's really weird.
I think it's the one on the beach, isn't it?
I don't remember.
Oh no, a planker sign out of bounds. No, actually, I don't know.
Yeah,
what
you can see it. I think if you go do like some slope rolls.
Huh.
Which we didn't really explain what a slope roll. It's pretty much where you do a ground pound at the edge of a slope, and you can actually I'll be doing it right now, and you can roll up it. It's pretty broken. It's pretty good too. Oh, so just like that, and then you can I just completely skipped stuff because that's what you do. This category just exploits everything in the overworld. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, it's cool that this category works.
Yeah, I think some stuff definitely needed like some workaround. Like I think we were at the start we weren't really capable of doing all of this. Like before we had the air swim, I think, right?
Yeah, the one underwater was not possible. You need the map for that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, you actually already collected that, right?
Yeah, that was the third one I got.
Yeah, like that one usually wants you to look at the map and then like collect it through the map.
It's very weird.
While we can just roll through it while it's still like buried under the sand, and it's like funny that it even has a hitbox at that point.
I hate these. I don't understand what makes them move. It feels like just random. Whenever they move, where do they go?
I think they're like on a timer. They usually stay in place for the same amount of time, don't they?
Which definitely is one of the best parts about doing the tonicless route, or the quillless route, is you don't have to deal with pretty much all of them, except for this one.
So why are you picking up the quills? You said you can skip all the paywalls, right? Like, what are the quills for?
Quills are... There's a tonic locked behind 1,000 quills at the end of the run.
Oh, okay.
But there is another route that actually skips those. However, the setup is not consistent. I could easily spend 5 minutes just trying to get it.
So it's not very showcase safe?
It could be, but I've hardly spent time with it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's not very safe.
Also, somebody in chat was saying that they're curious how the levels look like if we're going to be spending all of our time in the overworld, and that's where you tune in next week. During AGDQ 2021, 24 Bs will be showcased.
Okay, so this is also a run killer, as like every trick in this run. This is called Ice Room Skip. Let's see, I'll get it first, and then I'll try to explain it. Oh, there we go, second try, nice. So, the goal here you saw that I picked up a fire berry before and shot it at Nimbo, the cloud. The default state of this room is ice, and I unfroze it. So normally to get that upper tonic, where I did that roll off the wall, you're supposed to enter the room when it's icy, and then do one of those sliding puzzles that exist in like a lot of RPGs and games. You have to like go the right path. However, I can skip that by doing a precise roll along the wall, and it's great, except it's not that great because if you mess up and you can't jump for some reason, you get forced into the loading zone. So every attempt is like 15 seconds lost. It's not really fun. And now here I'm trying to jump over a fence, which skips a trouser wall and shenanigans.
Exactly, getting us into the beach where we go into a room where we have this sign that tells us to like go south, go west, go north, go east, and then in the end, through the casual puzzle, we would like end up right next to him again and just grunt on the floor, and we get trolled.
Okay, more. Oh, whoops! Don't hit me. No, come back! Wow, that went really far. I think this is the last one of these. Luckily, these moving piles. Also, that's a Pagey from the Yooka-Laylee game. Actually, every character in this is from Yooka-Laylee.
Is it?
So this is a Pagey challenge. There are 14, I think, in the overworld, or 15, and they're pretty much just mini levels, like just challenges. So pretty much the goal is usually to kill the enemies. So this was going to kill this snail thing, and that's it. We won. There's 2 we do in this run. One's coming up in a few segments. Pretty much their goal, like what they do, is they unlock more of the overworld. So there's actually a lot of ways to unlock the overworld. Either talking to Trouser, which actually blocks progress, and then you need Twit coins, which are found in levels. And then there's these pages, which give access to other areas after you've talked to Trouser. So it's a lot going on. A lot to keep track of.
Yeah, also I accidentally lied earlier about not seeing 2D gameplay. The Pagey levels are obviously 2D gameplay.
Wow. I trusted
sorry.
you.
So yeah, now we're gonna go talk to this Pagey. You could theoretically skip this one, I think, but oh, you did the Pagey. What am I talking about? You could skip it. But the platform is too high that I'm standing on. Also, I'm throwing rocks at sharks because I don't know. Platonic wanted sharks. Oh, what? Okay, so these hitboxes can be a little weird sometimes. Usually they don't miss, but sometimes the game says no. But yeah, I'm not sure what the context behind this. For some reason, these sharks want to eat a shopping cart. I don't know. So it's.
I mean, makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Get a lot of iron or something. I don't know.
Alright, so we have a few more tonics here. Actually, one more.
Also, yes, chat is right. The game is currently available for free on Twitch.
I feel like my quill count's a little low. I seem to run into this issue lately a lot and like not paying attention and lose half my quills. Oh, here's a sequence break. You're supposed to have, I forget how many levels you need to clear for this one normally, and like how many bees you need. But if you just do some rolls into a wall and then bonk onto the chest, you can completely skip those bees because, again, abusing geometry is great.
Yeah, like
Also,
the thing we just kind of take for granted as we see it is like in every good platformer where we have a roll, wink wink, we can kind of roll off of a cliff a little bit and then still jump out of that. And you use that quite a lot, both in the overworld and in the 2D levels in this game.
So you might be wondering why there's no music. I don't know. Sometimes you just get a music glitch when you warp away from someplace, and I forgot that tonic. Let me get that real quick. But yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not. Maybe you know Hedwig, but I don't know. There's like the music glitch sometimes that happens. It's really strange. Actually, I don't know if you encounter it in 24Bs at all. Probably not,
I don't think so, no.
because you never warp. Well, you always enter a level, so yeah. All right, so now we're gonna grab this bomb earlier than I'm supposed to, and you're gonna bring it down here to open up a cave for later. Also, not yet, but down the line in this run a little later, I'll be doing some Zelda action with bombs, so don't want to miss that. And now we get to visit our good friend Vendy, who teaches you how to use tonics, but we won't be using tonics this run, so it's kind of just an unfortunate tutorial you can't skip. But it is you do get a tonic from that, so you kind of need to do it.
Good friend is really nice for Vendy.
So I get a tonic in here if I get the bomb. Bomb. So yeah, there are 60 tonics. We're about halfway, a little more than halfway, through this list. They're very, very quick. A lot of them are right next to each other, as you can see, which is kind of cool. Here we're gonna do some more rolling and jumping to skip having to make water appear. Forget how you're supposed to do it. I think it's from. I should have turned that off. Whoops. You're supposed to. I think you're supposed to do a pagey challenge for that water. I'm not really sure. I don't actually remember. It's been a while since I've done that.
Yeah, let me think. Yeah, like I'm super unknowledgeable, to be honest, about the parts that don't exist in the runs I do or watch at this point. Got that total tunnel vision just on the things I have to be able to do in runs.
I forget what this book's name is. Tome of Knowledge? No. It's the one at the end of Yooka-Laylee, I believe. Spoilers.
Uh-oh.
I think it is.
Imagine speedruns with spoilers.
And I know there's some Easter egg here, but I won't say what. You gotta figure out yourself.
Exactly. Best Easter egg in gaming history, I'd say.
But yeah, I don't know if anyone's been paying attention to these tonic names, but some of them are interesting, and you can probably infer what they mean. GB resolution is, I think, just sets the screen to be like the size of a Game Boy, like the ratio or whatever.
Yeah, it puts it like 4:3 ratio and gives it like I'm not sure 144p or something. So if you like to play in 144p, that's for you. There's also Game Boy Colors. If you combine those, you can actually have like the full Game Boy experience while playing this.
Is that like Superman 64 where the whole thing shrinks down really small?
I think it's just visual. Like, I don't think so. It's been a
Yeah,
while
yeah,
since
no.
I've used it.
Like nothing changes collision-wise or anything. It's just like all the it's like visual filters in a way.
Okay.
And it actually fits because they I forget what update. They added 8-bit versions of all the in-level music, so you can have the 8-bit tonics and then, or the 8-bit music with the Game Boy resolution and colors, and then you have a Yooka-Laylee Impossible Lair on the Game Boy Color.
It's probably a little early to plug that here, but there's actually going to be a bid war on AGDQ happening for bass versus 8-bit soundtrack.
Oh,
Yes,
really?
you know that
Yes.
Oh yes, there is. So I'm doing that out of bounds again. I did at the beginning of the run for another air swim, except this time I'm going directly to the right side to, you guessed it, bypass having to play levels, because it's all we're all about here, skipping levels. And enter this loading zone, which is blocked, like I said, blocked off until I think 6-2 is done, or one of those. And now we warp out.
Yeah, like it's definitely a really big skip to be able to.
Yeah, this category, if you
Out of
didn't do
bounds.
any skips, would be so long. It'd be like at least 2 hours.
Would it be possible to like do it overworld only without the skips, or do you have to actually enter levels?
You could do an overworld, but it would be like it wouldn't be all the tonics. It'd be like a lot less.
Mm-hmm.
Like, most tonics are blocked off. So, all right, here's
stuff you need from 2D levels. Yeah,
here's a
sorry.
fun trick called Desert Out of Bounds, which is precise and hopefully doesn't take me too long. Pretty much, if this bypasses the 101 twit coin requirement, which again skips like half the levels in the game, which is pretty nice, but it is very finicky.
Yeah.
Hey, I got it. Nice.
Ooh, that's fast.
And I have to do it 2 more times because you have to come over here multiple times. Oh, get the bomb first.
A lot of those overworld tricks you're actually also going to see in 24Bs because we also don't want to collect any of the coins in the levels, but instead just use those tricks to maneuver ourselves across the overworld. Also because of a trick we're going to use, let's say it's like a crazy amount of time, we're actually not going to be able to teleport across the map casually by pressing pause at all. But instead, we're going to have to use a glitch to even achieve the teleport at this point.
So yeah, we're not going to have music until the next pagey, which is coming up very shortly. So it kind of gives off a different vibe when you don't have music. It's really weird. And now we're going to do the Desert Out of Bounds trick yet again. This will be the second use of it. Ooh, almost first try. So again, I'm doing more slope rolls. Ooh. So yeah, you can see like this trick is very like it's kind of precise because there I should have worked.
Yeah, it's also really hard because you can't just use the D-pad and go like exactly top right with it. But you need like a...
Wow. Okay, that's unfortunate.
Oh no.
Oh, I got to show it off again. It's such a good
Yay.
trick. You got to see
More
it more than
Desert Out of
once.
Bounds.
It's good practice for the hotfix. Oh wait, this is the hotfix. Oh, nice. Okay. So that trick's really nice. There is another setup which involves stopping, but it's also honestly worse because you have to stop and try to get the momentum and the angle on the fly, and it's kind of not good. I used to use that setup, but don't use it. So now we're gonna get a bunch of quills in here. I think I'm actually short somehow again. So I guess I'll see. I need to have 800 around there leaving this room, so not too bad. Could have been worse. That's good enough. So like the nice thing about the quillless route, even though it is harder at the end, you get to skip all these detours for quills, which is really makes the route flow really nicely. But it's a lot harder route too. And here's the second pagey. And we got our music back. And this one is Resident Sleeper, honestly. It's you just sit and wait. The enemies just die. You don't have to do anything. It's pretty much the same thing as Luigi wins without doing anything in Mario Party, but
Yeah,
I mean,
just climb
I'm
up the
green.
rope. Yeah. You could just go ahead and call him Luca at this point.
it would be convenient if you could skip this pagey, but you're not high enough to do so. Because it's literally just blocking that fog. It's kind of silly. But oh well. And then you get to hear the factory theme for like 10 seconds.
What I think is really funny about that green fog is that, like, it only really blocks you from going if you're, like, on the low level where you're supposed to be, while when you jump at it from the top, it just has, like, a hitbox we can walk on.
Alright,
we'll
so
actually see that later in the game.
Here comes the Zelda ref thing I was talking about. It's just kind of precise bomb jump trick. Hopefully it doesn't take you too long, but it is tough, so need to count here. Okay, that was a little too early. Yeah, this trick also just can just go horribly wrong.
Yeah, basically what he tries to do is pick up that bomb and then at the right time, right before it explodes, jump and...
Oh, darn.
Oh no. Jump and like get the little boost that you get from the bomb exploding in Yuka's mouth, so that it boosts you up that very tiny bit up to the tree.
Huh, too early. See, this might take me a tiny bit, because this is honestly one of the hardest tricks in the run. Yeah, I'm too close. But yeah, pretty much what happens with this trick once I get it is I'll be skipping a trouser paywall. So again, skips a bunch of levels. Nice, got it. And then we just walk along the trees, because that's how you're supposed to do it. Play this game, and skip trouser, bye-bye. And like I said, that skips... I don't know how many levels. Pretty much every skip you see is skipping levels. That's what we need to know. Kind of important for this category to exist.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you don't even go through the overworld like from the back to the start or the start to the back or anything. But you just go like to place 3/4 in, then you go to the end, then you go to like the start, and then you go to the end again.
So here's like a kind of precise long jump, a roll jump. There we go. And now, as Headway was talking about, we can walk along this fog because it has a collision on the top. And here's a precise clip. Hopefully, it doesn't take me too long. There's a little bit in this corner you can actually just clip out. There you go, third try to get a tonic. And this skips having to get the other pagey. I believe when I first started running this category, that pagey was required, and then it was discovered you can just clip it through the corner there, which is pretty nice. So we have about 10 pages, 10 tonics to go. And yes, I'm doing Desert Out of Bounds yet again, because it's required 3 times. Or in my case 4, because I messed up. But one more time.
Actually, also I just realized you. Wait, did you just get the tonic in the little hallway there? Or did you get it earlier?
I got it earlier.
Oh, okay. Because I just realized like you could have totally just gotten it here as well.
Yeah, you can get it many times.
Yeah.
Also, for some reason, like the last Desert Out of Bounds is the hardest. Even though it's literally the same thing every time. It just feels harder. Because it's like the end of the run. Too far up, I think. But yeah, this is also a very precise trick. So there's a lot of precise tricks in this category. Wow.
What I really like about the category is that it has nearly no loads at all. It's just like straight up gameplay the entire way through.
Yeah, just the one big load at the start, because it's loading like the entire overworld, right?
Yes.
And then like the pagey loads, which are like
Oh yeah.
10 seconds tops. It's not too bad. Alright, so I finally got it. It's, like I said, this is the tricks I'm doing. I make it look a lot easier than it actually is. This is a sneaky tonic. You bonk into this tree. I think you get a hint for this somewhere. And there you get a tonic. If you've seen those like billboards that jump around, if you talk to them and give them 50 quills, they give you a hint towards a tonic. So it's good if you get stuck. Alright, so now we're in the forest. Or we've been in the little woods area. There's 2 tonics outside here with the fans. I'm not a no. Like I said, you don't want to fall in the wind too early. Otherwise, you have to go around in circles, and that's not good at all. And now, actually, this is something important for if I'm doing the other route. I'll be pushing that block down, and also getting these 2 tonics I just got at the very end of the run, not here. Also, there's another bomb jump trick you would have to do in that route, which I don't have to do because I'm not doing that trick. So we're nearing the end of Woods cleanup. Just got a few more, and then we're gonna go visit our friend Rampo.
Yeah, one thing you're about to do is like hitting that little table over to like go up that little path close to 8-2. That would be quite a run color in a 24Bs run if I did that, because that would stop us from being able to reach that overall B you can see up those trees.
Also, you're clearly not supposed to be able to knock down that piece there, but
yeah,
it works. And now we're pretty much in the final stretch of this run. Do a little roll there to clip through. Not like clip, but well, I guess it's a clip. It's cinematic, so you can play like a movie. It's kind of I haven't used tonics in a long time. They're interesting.
Yeah, I mean, if we're playing the game casually, they're a blast.
Alright, so I need a few more quills. Right here. Wow, 1 quill short. Oh, I know how to get a quill. This is kind of slow, but unfortunate routing. So here. Nope, I missed. Wow. So normally you'd have enough quills here. I don't know how I missed. I probably got hit too many times, because each time you get hit, you
lose 3 or something, right?
You lose 3, and I got hit like 3 or 4 times, so it's a lot. Trying to kill 1 enemy in here. I forget what these things are called.
Minions.
Right. Okay, now we have enough. And then
we get such fun names for the little boys. It's oh my god.
So this is the reason why I need 1,000 quills, because this key costs 1,000. All that hard work. And you can skip this, but oh nice, I missed. Because this is this gate right here, which you can bypass by climbing on the rocks above. It's kind of precise trick.
Kind of precise.
Yeah, it's pretty precise.
Yeah. It's like you're likely to spend 10 minutes on it precise.
Alright, so this is the final tonic in the run. I'll just give a quick spoiler. Since I'm playing the Switch version, they actually decided to customize it a bit more. So it's called Broken Joy-Con. But on the other releases in the game, it's just called Broken Controller. It's a neat little touch. I've played it with that mode. It's very uncomfortable. all the controls are flipped. So here's a nice little slope roll to skip swimming underneath. I forgot that was the intended path, honestly. Get this final key. Big old puzzle room. And now I'm going to do Rampo skip, and time is coming up once I grab the last tonic. And time.
Hey. GG.
Cool.
Arg.
Underestimate. And just to confirm, they have 60 out of 62. And there we go. That's all the tonics. About levels.
That was quite a good performance.
Yeah, thanks for coming on and doing the run for us. Do you two have any shoutouts before we wrap things up?
Just want to shout out the Yooka-Laylee community. They're pretty cool people, especially the Impossible Lair community. You should go watch those runs because they're broken as this in the 2D fashion instead. So definitely should check that out. Also check out the 24Bs run for AGDQ next year. We're coming up soon.
Yeah, if you want to see
Next
me,
week, yeah.
if you want to see me mess a lot around, like even with the controller, unplugging the controller, plugging it back in to skip stuff, definitely make sure to tune in for that run.
It's gonna be Monday morning, so yeah, next week pretty much exactly.
Cool. Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for coming on and showing us the run and doing commentary. We've got one more run for you all tonight. We're going to be going to a quick break before we go there, but just real quick, this is the Community Spotlight. When we're not doing special shows like this, we're showcasing games that people suggest for the show. So if you have a game you think doesn't get as much of a spotlight as it deserves, you can type !spotlight in chat. And there's a form there you can fill out to let us know games that you'd like to see on the show. Would really help if you would fill that in. It's always nice to have more suggestions. But we're going to go to a quick break while we set up for Donkey Kong Country all stages. While we're gone on break, we'll be playing a few ads. And if you are subscribed, you won't see those ads. But if you are not subscribed, we would appreciate it if you would consider subscribing, as Hotfix is funded in part thanks to your subscriptions and bits. But we'll be right back in just a few minutes with Donkey Kong Country all stages. Stay tuned. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Community Spotlight. We have our final showcase of the night for our AGDQ 2021 preview episode, where we're showing off games that are going to be featured during AGDQ 2021, but we're showing different categories, different flavors as you might call it. So we've got Tylenol here. He's going to be showing off all stages of Donkey Kong Country for us. And if you tune in next week, you can see, which one is it?
No major skips.
No major skips. That's the one. Thank you. Left my brain. But how you both doing today?
Hey, rolling in, right?
Rolling in.
Yeah, doing pretty well. You know, I've been playing this category actually a lot for the past 7 months. I've been playing almost exclusively this category, and I actually did this run with Void on commentary. I want to say in June or July on Time Capsule, I believe it was,
Yep.
and since then I've leveled up a good bit in this game. About 4 or 5 months of playing it, and I've gone up to 3rd place on the leaderboards for this category
The grind
now.
never ends.
Yeah, the grind truly never ends. They don't call it the forever grind for nothing.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, me and Tyler have done this before, and this is the run back. I don't even remember what time you got last time.
it was 34.00 last time. So
Oh, really? Wow.
definitely
okay.
not going to be easy to beat that
No,
this time
definitely
around. But
not, yeah. 34
you know, we'll see what I
flat's
can do.
quite good for a marathon run.
yeah, absolutely. So just to clarify, this is the all stages category. There's a little bit of confusion sometimes because this, even though it says all stages, it's not like a 100% category. You're literally going into the level and trying to beat it as fast as you can. You're not collecting bonuses. You're not getting Kong letters. You're just kind of like in and out. So like if there's a warp barrel, in some cases, if there's a wrong warp to help you go a little faster, or even just like a skip or something, then we're going to be using that in this category. Unlike the no major skips category that's going to be displayed for the main event next week.
Mhm. Essentially, no major skips is a combination of glitchless and warpless. So
Yeah,
both of which
basically.
are allowed in all stages.
Yeah, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to reset our console, and this is because on the Cranky Kong screen, it was recently discovered on the 1.0 version, if you push start and then push down on the D-pad, I believe within a 30-frame window, then you will actually get to start the video game in Funky Kong's plane. And it's going to look a little funny, because normally there is a Kong that kind of like walks on the overworld, but yeah, we're about ready to get started. I'll go ahead and go. So 3, 2, 1, go. So there we are, flying in Funky Kong's plane. Vroom.
That's actually hilarious how like this used to be the biggest secret, like the biggest mystery of this game, because we used to think it was seemingly random, but as it turns out, it's just super easy and super consistent to get.
Yeah, and that was discovered, I want to say, maybe, actually, I got one of my older PBs that I got like 4 months ago had it in it, so I think it was about 4 months ago.
After your time capsule run, but before this.
Exactly.
So, yeah, around the summer. Shout outs to who was it? Was it Kyoto? We discovered it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Kiora. Yeah,
Mhm.
pretty sure at least.
Yeah.
So, as you guys have noticed, the main character of this video game is actually dead. It turns out.
Yeah, he's slow
we actually we had to get rid of him because it turns out he's a lot slower than the secondary character, the Robin of the show, if you will. So, yeah, playing as a Diddy Kong is significantly faster than Donkey Kong. We do still use Donkey Kong sometimes in the run, but it's very minor.
Mostly as a sacrificial lamb to set up some glitches.
Yeah, essentially. So, yeah, a lot of rolling and jumping in this video game. A lot of Y pressing, if you will.
Yeah, and a big part of what makes this game unique in terms of movement is extended rolls. So essentially, extended rolls are you initiate a roll, but you want to release Y as you roll in, through an enemy and repress after you're past said enemy, and that makes your roll last longer, and you can use that to not only gain more speed but also clear some gaps, which Donald did in that level.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, extendos or extended rolls, or extendos as we call them, we just spam them everywhere as much as you can to, like, you know, kind of maximize your speed cap basically, and it caps at 4, I believe.
It
4
caps
enemies.
at 4 enemies for Diddy, at 5 for Donkey.
Oh, it does cap at 5 for Donkey? Oh, lost
It
my
caps
fish.
at 5 for Donkey, yeah. But like Diddy hits the cap at only 4 enemies. So
It's
like,
interesting. I
even though
actually
you-
even didn't know that.
Yeah, you can roll through more enemies, but you're not gonna increase your speed.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, basically you and I, even though this is probably pretty obvious, rolling is the fastest method of movement in this game, so you really just want to roll as much as you can. And in some cases, jump and roll at the same exact time.
Yep.
So,
The
in this video
bane
game,
of these speedruns.
yeah, exactly. In this video game, there is a glitch called a jump roll. So if you initiate a roll the same frame that you would bounce on an enemy, you actually go into this state where you're kind of infinitely rolling in the air. And that is a frame perfect trick that is used quite a bit in this run.
Yeah. Hard extendo coming up.
Oh, and we got it.
Nice.
That's a 1.6 second time save, I believe, discovered by Enryu, I believe. He's a very, very talented Japanese speedrunner for this video game. We got the hardest boss in the game, the easiest hardest boss in the game.
The easiest, hardest boss, yes.
And
I like
Banana
Void sneaking in with the emotes in the middle of commentary.
The Void's emotes are so good.
Yeah.
Cool, so World 2, very simple world overall, but it has a very hard level in it that I have grown to like a lot lately, actually.
Yeah. It's not this level though, but this level is still pretty cool. It's also the shortest level in the game that you have to play through without a warp.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the level Town Hall is referring to is Bouncy Bonanza, which I
That's
would
the one.
say is the hardest level in the early game to play properly, but Town Hall probably has the best Bouncy Bonanza in the community. Or at the very least, he has to be one of the most consistent runners at that level.
Yeah, and here I am entering Bouncy Bonanza, and I'll make a mistake, I'm sure. Yeah, very difficult level, so I'm probably going to be quiet for a good bit of this, because it is pretty hard.
I'll talk about B-Skip during that time. So there are 2 routes around the middle portion of the level. There's top route and there's bottom route. Bottom route is faster, but you have to do these B-Skips. You have just enough time to clear these alcoves without taking damage from those bees. Donald did it really nicely. Ooh, spooky jump. Very nicely done.
Yep.
Called spooky jump because it saves like a quarter of a second, and if you actually bounce off the tire too early, you're not gonna make that ledge So
quite spooky, not gonna lie. Very easy to die and take damage. Both of those things can happen so easily.
for sure.
And taking damage means you're playing as the slower of the two Kongs in this video game, so definitely don't want to do that.
Yeah. Alright, so coming up is going to be the first instance of what I mentioned earlier. We're going to use Donkey to set up what's called a super jump, which essentially gives us infinite height. So what you want to do is take damage on the slope so that Donkey actually flies off the screen from the top. And the next time you take damage and bounce on an enemy and hold B for as long as you possibly can, and you'll get as much height as you need or want. And the warp barrel that is actually off screen is a Donkey only barrel.
Yeah, there's a couple of warp barrels that's, you know, skip the whole level, but you can only access them as Donkey Kong for some reason. So there's actually one in the next level after this boss fight that functions the same way. So yeah, it's World 2, which is World 1 and World 2 are basically they're just mostly movement with like some minor tricks here and there. But World 3 is where it gets a little spicy. Where things start to fire up.
For sure. And we're starting it off with, once again, another Donkey only warp. This one being on a timer, so if you're not fast enough to get to it, the barrel is just not going to spawn, and you'll have to either die and try again or play the level warpless.
Yeah, it's pretty funny because it's kind of like almost like a speedrunner developer intended type thing almost.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, this level is really short. It was like 6-second stage, something like that. Just take a warp and you're out of there. This level has a trick, and I'm going to be doing what's called a super free roll if Void wants to talk about that.
Yeah, so a super free roll essentially combines a jump roll and a super jump, but it removes the frame perfect element out of it by using those vertical ropes. You can actually dismount the ropes from the bottom. Okay, that's really unfortunate.
Yeah, quite.
not a bad backup though, but yeah, so you can dismount those ropes from the bottom and then initiate a roll from the ground, and you're going to be in the same super jump roll state as you would be had you gotten the frame perfect trick. This level has a super jump roll alternative, but which would be actually a little faster, but it is a frame perfect trick, and Tylenol prefers to opt for this strategy for consistency.
Yeah, I did fail the rope dismount, which is a bit of a tricky part about this. I'm actually not sure where I'm going to fall because my release point for this is let's see. So I might, yeah, okay. I'm gonna be hanging out in the sky for a little bit, but eventually I'll fall down. I promise.
Yeah. Time for some donations, actually.
That was more of a time to plug next week. So all of these games we've shown today are on the schedule for AGDQ 2021. We're showing different flavors, so it's not, you know, spoiling the run that you'll see. And some people were curious about this and the difference between like any percent or what's going to be shown during AGDQ. And I think the way Void explained it to me is probably the best. Is that this is a big combination of movement and glitches. And the one being showcased next week is all about just pure movement.
It's pure movement, yeah.
Okay, so this level, Temple Tempest, it's pretty hard, not gonna lie.
Yeah, definitely the hardest level in the run so far.
A lot of rope skips that we do, and big Omega Extendo.
Yep, making usage of the Extendo mechanic to skip some ropes. There's actually a safe alternative to this level that involves grabbing Espresso the Ostrich from the first bonus, but it's faster to skip Espresso, funnily enough.
Cool, got the Tempest Omega Extendo
Very nice.
there.
Yeah.
Which I believe, I'm actually not exactly sure how much time it saves, but I want to say it saves like a second or something. And now we're gonna have a trick called Map Warp coming up soon. So we're actually gonna, instead of going straight to Orangutan Gang, which is what the route in the No Major Skips category would do, we're gonna go back to Funky's Flight. There's a corner that if I push a face button on that corner, frame perfectly, I'll actually enter O Gang.
Yep. There are multiple corners in World 1, actually. Most of them send you to Ogang, but the corner Tylenol chooses is the one that puts you the furthest into the level.
Exactly, yeah. It's kind of crazy how many corners there are in this game that just send you to places they definitely shouldn't.
There
Or
are
anywhere
only
at
corners
all.
in World 1, too, which is pretty epic.
Yeah. So the second water level of the run, Clam City. It's a city with some clams and some, pearls that they spit out.
Very descriptive level.
Yeah.
But yeah, something worth mentioning about water levels. Vanguard is much faster. This is the fastest way to travel in inside water. So, like, you really want to find your fish buddy as soon as possible and ride him up until the end. If you lose him, that can spell disaster. Not necessarily for this level, but for some levels, it can really prove to be quite difficult.
Yeah, exactly. If you lose On Guard, a lot of the times the backups are not very, most people don't really know much about backups that, involve failing or losing the fish, so a lot of the times people just die, shortly after, or, get hit. So it's important for this boss fight to just count how many times the bee goes down, so right now I'm going to do 6. But if you're not paying attention when you're doing runs casually or like on your own stream or whatever, and you miscount, it can be pretty bad. Cool. So that's World 3, and now we're gonna hike up to the mountains into the snow, the Gorilla Glacier, if you will.
Yeah, the land of reduced stream quality.
Yeah.
Smart ice physics are introduced, and this level has actually a lot of really tiny optimizations that if you string together, you end up with a really cool IL.
Yeah. This level is pretty easy to mess up. Very easy. A lot of things can just kind of go wrong. Used a barrel boost right there, grabbing that tin can or that steel can, and if you basically jump normally, if you jump off of a corner frame perfectly, like most corners in the video game, you'll get that physics, which is what we call a barrel boost, and that kind of just keeps a bunch of momentum forward. And normally it's frame perfect, but because of the snow physics, it's actually just if you're just standing on that corner at all and you just jump with the can, it's gonna just send you flying.
It works on the whole slope instead of just the corner of it.
Exactly.
All right. So here we're gonna do a little clippity clip on the ceiling and access this warp barrel that is supposed to be only accessible with Donkey with Diddy.
Yeah, normally, I think for some donkey-only barrels, they're literally just not even on the screen, or they're not accessible at all. But I think that one's just sitting there. It's blue, so it's I think that was their way of hiding it, or whatever. Yeah. And normally, Diddy or Donkey can actually jump high enough to just reach it with his arms, and so Diddy just kind of gets that extra height and just barely gets up there, or gets up there with the ceiling jump glitch or whatever it's called. So this level, you're going to use the Animal Buddy Espresso. This guy is very helpful here, because this level, I don't even want to know what it's like to play without this guy.
This level sucks to play without Espresso. You'd have, it's really slow and it's really spooky, so you have to time just your jumps and the rope cycles and everything, and with Espresso you can just glide across everything.
Yeah, exactly. So usually, if any runner takes damage at any point in time and loses Espresso, then it's curtains usually. It's pretty ugly.
Yeah, it is.
So this level, Croctopus Chase, there's actually a cue, an audio cue at the very end of the level where some pianos will play, or maybe they won't. And if they don't, then that means I went pretty fast. So
yeah. That's actually a tell to how good your level is. How many pianos play at the end of the level. We like to call the best Croctopus chases pianoless, or the ones that go further beyond than that, we call them bassless.
Yeah, the Lovebird exclusive.
The Lovebird exclusive, yeah.
Actually, I think Lovebird is the only person to get a baseless Croctopus chase.
Well, he's also the only person who like has drilled this level enough.
Yeah.
To make baseless a thing. But yeah, essentially the tech in this level is to cut the corners as close and as well as possibly. In this level, not in this level, but I should say in this game, as opposed to the next donkeys on the SNES, DKC2 and DKC3, holding Y underwater doesn't do anything. It doesn't influence your speed, it doesn't make you go faster or any of the sorts. So like really the only way to increase the time you save in water levels where you don't have access to end guard is to cut those corners. And I'd say so far, I don't have audio playing, but I would say so far the tunnel is doing a pretty decent job at cutting those corners.
Yeah, so far so good, I would say. Maybe on pace for a pianoless Croctopus chase. Should be pretty cool to get in a marathon.
For sure. But yeah, this level really is considered the halfway point of the run, and it's also the longest. Clocks in at, I want to say, a little over 2 minutes long.
Yeah, it's just over 2 minute long level.
And unfortunately, Engard is at the end of the level, so it's not only slower to grab, but having him at the beginning of the level would really break the whole gimmick of it. Which is why it's at the end.
Ooh, and we got a pianoless Croctopus chase.
Well, nice run.
We did the thing.
Yeah.
Went fast. Alright, so Torchlight Trouble actually has an animal buddy that we skip. Squawks. He causes quite a bit of lag. It can lose you, I think, like 2 seconds in some scenarios.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. This level is like, it's a dark level, but it's actually not that dark, so you can see where you're going, so we just opt to skip Squawks so that we save time.
Cool, and there is actually a frame-perfect trick in this level that I'll be attempting, actually, this time, which I did not do.
We were talking about super jump rolls earlier. This is the first instance of it.
Oh, and we got it. That is
Nice.
the Rope Ridge Rumble super jump roll. It saves, I think, 8 seconds or so.
It's about 8 seconds, yeah. I just remember how much time it loses if you don't get it.
Yeah, I think it loses 18 seconds.
Yeah, it's like
as
17
opposed to,
or 18.
Yeah.
The setup is like pretty intricate for that SJR, so yeah. When you go for it, like you're really committing to it.
And the Beaver's back. A little bit stronger this time, but it's okay. We've got some ceiling tech to handle him this time. We're just gonna, stand up there for no reason.
Well, the reason is to get more optimal hits, but swag.
Exactly. Cool. So, World 5 coming soon. A lot of frame-perfect tricks in this world. A lot.
Yes.
And it starts off immediately, actually.
Yep. Another super jump roll coming up in this level. There are 2 methods to do this super jump roll. You can either do the damage boost method or the damage less method.
Nice. Got the single explosion for damageless oil drum alley super jump roll. Yep, that's another frame perfect trick. So I'm kind of killing it right now.
Yeah. Dude, if it wasn't for that mishap in Frenzy, like this would be a really good run right now.
Yeah, but maybe even it would have been PB pace for all I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So would you say that Tylenol is rolling deep right now, Void?
Oh yeah, for sure. More so than usual. It's like he already rolls pretty deep.
Okay, so this is actually the last level that has like a developer intended warp. I believe that's the last one.
Yeah, and thank God for that because it would be a very long auto scroller otherwise.
Yeah, that level is very long.
But hey, I heard you guys like SJRs, so here's another one in this level.
Missed it. Can't hit them all,
All right, we're back. Sorry about that.
Alrighty. So
Roll it back in.
We know when you're
don't
unpausing.
worry, guys. You didn't miss anything. I paused the game, so we're just gonna keep going like nothing happened. So yeah, elevator antics. A lot of up down in this stage, as opposed to a lot of the other levels where you're kind of just holding right the entire time.
Yeah, it's actually quite a difficult level.
Yeah, this level is really hard.
Yeah, especially when you like don't get the SJR. The SJR is already hard in and of itself to hit, but if you have to do the level without that trick, yeah, the platforming is pretty intense.
Yeah, exactly. So this is the last water level of the run, green one at that, Poison Pond. Despite how crazy and ridiculous this level looks, it's not as hard as it looks. There's a lot of like specific lunge timings that we'll do to kind of just maneuver around the mincers and stuff, the spinning spiky boys, and that prevents us from, you know, getting hit. But there is one spot where we're gonna do what we call the triple mincer clip. It's coming up pretty soon.
But yeah, the movement in this level can be pretty consistent, like Donald said, if you count your lunges.
Cool, we got the triple mincer clip. I'm not sure exactly how much time it saves, but
triple clip is like close to a second, I want to say. I don't think it's quite a second, but
yeah, it's a good chunk. I think like pretty much every top runner mains that strat, I would say.
I used to swear off that trick, and then I tried it, and now I just do it every run.
Pretty much. All right, so you guys like frame perfect tricks? Because we got one of
you guys
this
like
level.
jump rolls?
And remember to stay hydrated. This is how you speedrun Donkey Kong Country.
Stay hydrated. So I guess I'll explain a little bit what Tylenol just did. So essentially what happened is we did combine a jump roll with the minecart air roll glitch. So if Donkey walks into a minecart and takes damage afterwards, you can basically roll through the air with Diddy, which is already much faster than beating the level normally as intended. But if you combine a jump roll on top of that, it saves like an additional, I want to say 4 seconds or so.
Yeah, roughly 4 seconds.
Yeah. And that is only possible because you can roll through midair, so you can initiate a roll on the same frame as you would land on those neckies.
Exactly. So we're entering Blackout Basement, where the lights will flicker on and off. Every, what is it, 60 frames? 60-something frames?
It's a little over 60 frames. I don't remember, like 61 frames maybe?
Oh, failed the Omega there.
Good. That trick.
We're not a huge fan of the Blackout Basement Omega.
Nah. It saves only 40 frames, and it's like, it's a 4-frame window in the dark, so it's like pretty spooky, but yeah.
So yeah, this stage is pretty easy to like, you know, kind of get lost in. Because if you make a mistake, then you really have to like know the level very well, because your light cycle will be different than what you would do normally if you didn't make any mistakes at all. So that is something that the hardest part about Blackout Basement is adjusting when you make an error. So we got boss Dum Drum here, which is the 5th boss of the run. He just spits out some bad guys, and then that's pretty much it. It's pretty funny boss.
Just want to dispatch the bad guys as soon as possible, as optimally as possible. Here, you take the D-boost, because it's actually faster to take a D-boost there than to swap your comms back and forth in this boss fight and then in the next level. Because you want to be Donkey to dispatch the clumps and the armies quickly, but you want to go back to Diddy for the next level. So it's actually faster to D-boost on this guy, grab another Kong, and swap in the next level than it is to swap your Kongs twice.
Exactly. And right, so this is quite a level that we're entering right now with another frame perfect trick.
Yep.
2 chances to do it, actually.
This is the most infamous DKC level, Tanked Up Trouble. So there are 2 instances of frame perfect tricks in this level, 2 instances of jump rolls. The first one we call Kremtut, saves close to a minute, and the second one we call Bird Tut, and it saves 12 seconds less than Bird Tut. So the savings are still massive. For Bird Tut, it's like 43 seconds, and they're pretty much the curse.
Oh my gosh, dude!
Oh baby! Oh.
Well, that's a pretty hard trick I just did, but it's not over yet. There's actually there's 2 parts to this trick, which is why it's hard.
The hard part of Kremtut is you have to dodge those 2 vertical bees coming up.
Ah, dang it! That was so close.
I'm actually surprised he didn't make that. Wow.
Yeah, I think my right input after was a little off, but that's okay. Still,
Dang.
like the hitting the first half is still really difficult to do. So.
Yeah. That's still like quite the achievement.
I don't even know
Especially
where
in a
I'm gonna swap
marathon
my
run.
Kongs. I just got Donkey in front now, and I want to have Diddy in front. Oh, there it is. Okay, I can just stand on this. Most of the time, if something like that happens in a run, you just hit the beautiful reset button that speedrunners know and love.
Button.
So,
Yep.
yeah.
Because like Bird Tut alone saves so much time that at the top level, if you don't hit a jump roll in this level, your run is essentially over. So, like Tylenol did hit Kremtut, but he wasn't able to make it past the vertical bees, which also at a high level would mean run over. But now we're here collecting the oil drums and making sure we can get to the end of the level safely.
Yeah, this level's pretty hard casually, actually. Just like there's a lot of
casually, I
multitasking
thought this
going on.
level was really difficult. One of the hardest in the game, in fact.
Alright, so in the next level, we have objectively the best animal buddy in the video game, and Void is not happy about what I just said.
Shaking my SMH.
But there he is. His name is Ramby. He's a really good boy. Sometimes, you make some mistakes on him, like just there, but we forgive and forget, right? Isn't that right, Void?
I need you to know that Void posted no Ramby in chat. The heck Ramby in chat right as you said did that.
I'm contractually obligated to not say anything nice regarding Ramby.
Contractually obligated.
Yeah, contractually obligated by myself.
Does it make you feel better to see Ramby getting ditched in the pit like that, Void?
Oh yes, that's like the best part of this level.
That's actually my least favorite part. Alright, so in the next level, we actually have a super free roll, similar to the one I attempted in Frenzy, but this one's a good bit easier.
Yeah, this was the same principle as Forest Frenzy SFR that Tylenol did earlier, but Forest Frenzy SFR, you don't have to dismount a rope like right on the edge of a pit. Like this one is really safe, really consistent, saves a ton of time, like over 20 seconds. The SJR alternative saves like I think a second and a half on top of that, but once again, frame perfect trick, and like the trade-off is just not worth it this deep into the run, especially when you're on pace, you hit a tut jump roll, like you don't care too much about a second and a half.
Essentially. So normally, if I was doing a PB attempt, I would actually turn around there to initiate a glitch that I'm going to be doing called split up glitch, if Void wants to explain that.
Yeah, so what split up glitch is when you're throwing a DK barrel, you want to start select out of a level, and then you want to take damage over a pit. And what that does is the next time you will break open a DK barrel, the game will think that you control both Kongs at the same time. And by doing so, or combining this, I should say, with the first bonus in Platform Perils, which is the level after this level, we're going to do a wrong warp. And the wrong warp, on top of the setup time, that saves, I want to say, around 15 seconds. And that's one of the most recent pieces of tech that got added to this game and this run. And Someone is already like hard enough as is, which is why Tylenol is doing it first. But like the main reason why he's doing it before setting up the split up glitch is because if you take damage while the split up glitch is active, meaning between the time you take damage over a pit and the time at which you break open the DK barrel, if you take damage on the ground, you will soft lock your game.
Yeah, and there's nothing you can do about it
There is-
because the game doesn't keep track of progress unless you go to Candy's save point.
Yep. Now Donald's gonna grab this DK barrel, make it over to the left.
Cool, and that's that. You just
That's it. That's the level.
You're just out of the level.
Yep.
That's that. And that trick was actually discovered during AGDQ 2020 this year. I remember I stopped everything I was doing to do some any percent runs with it at the event.
Because the any percent run for this game is only like 8 minutes long, so like a 15-second time save in an 8-minute long category is huge savings. So yeah, like I can confirm I watched Tylenol grind any percent attempt on like probably the worst CRT in the practice room.
It's true, I did.
Yeah.
And here is the big green guy with the crown that we all know and love.
Big guy, yep.
And the good music as well. Can't forget about that.
Yeah. I think this is gonna be a 33, by the way.
Oh really? Yeah, I know
Yeah.
we paused the timer, so I'm actually I don't know where the timer kept up with, because my live split I didn't pause it on my end, so.
Oh, word. Well,
Yeah.
it was paused on the hotfix.
I paused it a little bit late, and then I also resumed it a little bit late, so it should be pretty close.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. 33 would beat the last run that I did, actually.
Yeah.
I think this was deathless too, right? Maybe.
If you don't count the Crumpton Bees, then yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah, I did die to the Crumpton Bees. That's right.
Yeah, but I mean, you don't count the Crumpton Bees. You hit the frame. Come on.
That's true. I did. Cool. So this boss is pretty, quote unquote easy, but never sleep on the king. It's very easy to accidentally jump on his head a little too early and take damage, and next thing you know, you're one Kong in the K-Roll fight, and you're like, what's going on? And then, who knows, you might even die, so... What I always say when I enter this boss fight is that it's not over till it's over. There have been instances of people missing a PB, or maybe not missing a PB, but like missing beating a specific time on the leaderboard because of K-Roll hits. I think it may have even happened to myself now that I'm thinking about it.
One of the nice things about the timer system we use, it keeps running in the background even when you stop it. So you get to play along with the fake credits there.
I saw that. I totally didn't notice.
GG.
Just helping debate chat a little bit.
I should have probably said that that was going to be time, but yep, that's my bad.
That's good.
That's that. Cool. What was the time? I on my end it's different, but
So the give or take a few seconds, 33:52.
Oh, well, that must be faster than the last run that I did for this. I'm almost certain.
Yeah.
It even just generally felt faster, which I did die in my my last marathon as well. So, yeah. Thank you everyone for the GGs and the nice runs. I appreciate it. And thanks everyone for tuning in. All my friends that are there, I see you guys. I got the chat up. That's right. I'm talking about you.
I see you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, so this run I hit, let me think. Including I think I overall played pretty well. I hit the RBR frame, I hit the ODA frame, I hit the MCM frame, and I hit Kremtut, but I died to the bees. So overall I really I hit a lot of frame perfect tricks this run, so
Almost got the whole thing.
Yeah, genuinely, so really not too bad.
Man, actually, had you gotten like Kremta, the full thing, that would have been pretty epic.
Yeah, that would have been so cool. I really wanted it to, but it added so much extra pressure when I was like, oh man.
Right? Yeah.
The bees are hard. It's really frame tight. That's a part of why the trick is as difficult as it is. So.
Like the bees, dodging the bees depends on like how high you are when you hit the frame, and like you have to adjust accordingly, or like just completely do a different strat. Like you can either do the setup Tylenol did, or you can try and wiggle between the bees. Some people prefer that. I think it's Kaizo, but
it is very difficult to wiggle between the bees.
To each their own.
Yeah, the pause. There's a pause method that you can do, which is about 4 seconds. But the way that the start button in this video game is programmed is very. I'm pretty sure it's the video game, right? Not the SNES controller. Yeah, like pausing in this game, it's hard to explain, but sometimes when you push the button, it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
So
there's like an insane amount of lag when you pause in this game compared to both DKC2 and DKC3.
Yeah, they fixed it in the later DKC games. Oh, what were you saying, real quick?
So there's a few people in chat asking how they can follow this man. Why don't you give the plug?
Okay, so I am twitch.tv/Tylenol with a 0 instead of an O. Not all those words together, but you just replace the O in Tylenol with a 0 instead. But that is my username. And I have been playing this game and this specific category for 7 months straight.
Oh my goodness.
Which some people might call me insane, but I plan to continue running this category to improve my time. I'm currently tied in 3rd place for this category, and I'm trying to continue to grind it to get an even faster time at the moment.
That's what we call dedication.
Yes.
Yeah. Or insanity, however you want to look at it.
The two can be the same.
It's only insanity if you don't PB. So.
That's true. Yeah, exactly. Don't forget Donkey Kong. Look at him, giving you the thumbs up, and I don't know whatever this is. I'm about it, I guess. Oh, but yeah, no, not too bad of a run. A 33. That's sick. Give or take the few seconds of difference. I'm really overall happy with how I played, and it's cool that even though I didn't get past the bees, it's cool that I hit Kremta. I'm pretty stoked about that. So
yeah, that was nicely done.
Yeah, thank you very much, Floyd.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thanks for having me. Happy to have done the run back with you.
Yeah, it was second time doing this. It was great. Yeah, a lot of fun. Really enjoyed being on this. And just to give a quick shout out also to Dad Loves Beer, DLB, and Eason. Both of them will be racing this video game. They're going to be doing the no major skips category. So not any of these glitches or frame perfect tricks like I showcased. It's going to be a lot of just kind of like raw movement, and that's going to be for the main event for AGDQ 2021 online a week from now. I'm not exactly sure.
Their run is on next
It's on Sunday. They're not the starting run, but they're the second run.
Oh, really?
Of the marathon.
Oh,
so
that's gonna be exciting.
Right
I thought it was
beginning.
on Monday. Wow.
Cool. Yeah, make sure to tune into that next Sunday for the DKC 1 no major skips race between Eason and Dad Loves Beer. That's gonna be a real good one.
Do you have any shoutouts before we wrap things up here?
Shoutouts to Void for commentating with me. Shoutouts to all the DKC people. Shoutouts to all the people who believe in me while I play this game multiple days a week and get no PB for. I actually PB'd twice in one day on Monday a week ago, actually, which was insane because before that I actually went 4 straight months without getting PB. No joke.
Yeah.
So that was kind of unreal that had happened.
PBs in general in this game and category are scarce just due to the nature of it. Like you have to hit so many frame perfect tricks, and at a high level you have to like hit almost all of them, if not all of them. So it can take like a while to grind a run to get a PB for that reason.
Exactly. Yeah. And it looks like you got a 28 IGT. I think my PB is a 26 or 25. I don't know. I think it's a 26. But yeah, so there's that. So thank you all for watching and tuning in. I really appreciate it. And thank you GDQ and the Hotfix people, and Railcoon, and everyone that's been helping out doing moderation and stuff for having me as well. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks for having us, guys.
Yep, thanks for coming on, doing the run, doing great commentary as well. we're going to wrap things up there for today. That was the last of our runs for previewing the AGDQ schedule. If you want to see more speed runs, we've got plenty more stuff coming up this week on Hotfix, and of course this Sunday, AGDQ 2021 is starting at noon Eastern, so make sure you tune in for that. But if you want more speedrunning content before then, tomorrow is Random Number Generation, starting at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. It's a show about randomizers, randomizer community. They do races, bingo. Sometimes they have randomizer devs on talking about, how you make a randomizer, that sort of thing. It's hosted by Skybills. It's usually a good time, so you should tune in for that if you haven't seen it before. But with that, we are going to be wrapping things up. We're going to play a few ads, and then we're going to raid someone. So if you want to see more speedruns now, we're going to find somebody who's speedrunning and send you off in their direction to wish them good luck on their whatever they're working on. So we'll be, going to break for a few minutes, and we'll send you some fine speedrunning streamer, and we'll see you tomorrow.